shack together 30. Who'd have thought we'd make it this far? Not me, that's for sure. But how sweet it is to be wrong, especially on a day like today. We're joined by Donovan Erskine, everyone's favorite news editor at Shacknews.com. We'll be covering his review of Concord, as well as his review of the casting of Frank Stone. And let me check my notes. We're also covering the closure of Concord, which perhaps Donovan can illuminate. Strange. Today's segment is a little game called Before Their Time. I've got a list of many games that were sunset, and we're going to see if the crew has any idea how long they lasted out in the wild. This will be a tricky one. Let's see how they do. On Storytime, we've got a slew of quickies, some previews, and much more. We'll be covering the Minecraft movie teaser, Itsuno leaving Capcom after many decades with the company, some new developments at Valve courtesy Hopoo Games, Guilty Gear is headed to Nintendo Switch, a preview for Echoes of Wisdom, the new Legend of Zelda game. Looks incredible. And we've got the latest on Dragon Quest III HD 2D, a Fantasian Neo Dimension preview, Little Nightmares 3, Undisputed, and the Life is Strange Double Exposure preview. All of those previews, in fact. So lots to look forward to in the coming months. That's the show. Thanks for being here, and here we go.
You know how Nintendo, like every time they tweet about a direct, they're always like, there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during the presentation?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it got me thinking, maybe the Switch 2 isn't called the Switch 2. Maybe it's actually, they've been telling us this whole time, it's the Nintendo Switch successor.
God, if there was any company that would call a console that, it would be them.
Or Nintendo successor for short.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I like it.
It would, you know.
I don't think that's what's happening, but I do like it because it's wild.
The company that brought you the new Nintendo 3DS. So.
Oh God, can you imagine if they did new Nintendo Switch? No.
Yeah, but it'd be like
sure
Nintendo Switch LL.
Oh, Switch XL, Switch L.
Yeah, Switch LL. Wasn't that the Japanese variant? Was LL?
LL Cool J.
Yes. Yeah, Cool J.
Yeah. So that was a dumb idea I had. Because I was just, I don't know, it's going to be Switch 2, but
yeah,
it would be really funny if they're just like...
It'll be like a GTA situation where for like a year they were like, the next Grand Theft Auto title is all they would call it, and then they dropped the trailer and it was just GTA 6, like we all thought it would be.
Yeah. It's funny though, like every other day, and I know, Joe, you're not on Twitter anymore. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But I'm on there for some reason. You know, like, what is it, Tom? And every other week or every other day, Switch 2 trends?
All the time. It's almost in a fixed position on my trending tab.
And it's always stuff we already know. Like, they're not announcing it this year. Or you know. I saw yesterday someone who claims to know something said they're going to announce it next month. And I'm like, I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I think we're post New Year when we hear about this thing. That's my
I'm thinking February.
Hot take. That sounds good. Yeah.
But like you're getting these news stories that are like, it's going to be backwards compatible. It's like, yeah, we've known that for years.
Yeah, I think we wrote that report in like 2022.
Yeah. So it's just like, I keep seeing these stories about Switch 2 popping up and I'm like, that's not news. It's just people are like, they see the trend on Twitter and they write to the trend instead of like, I don't know, doing some sort of research. But yeah, Switch 2 trending on Twitter. And yeah, it's football, Donovan. Football's back today.
I cannot tell you how excited I was when I woke up this morning. I had a buddy text our group chat at like 6 a.m. We're all Ravens fans, of course, here in Baltimore. Just being like, oh, it's game day. And I was like, you're goddamn right it is. Yeah,
and it's like instant revenge opportunity for you guys, because this is the team that knocked you out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you know, nothing can avenge that. We won't go to the Super Bowl if we win tonight, but I would like to beat that team.
You could spoil their party. You know, like their big Super Bowl banner thing, and they get their rings. Like, you can spoil that, which the Detroit Lions did last year, and then that kind of catapulted them on this great run. So I think it's a very important game for the Ravens. And yeah, Taylor Swift's going to be there.
Undoubtedly.
Did you hear the rumor about her and Travis having a contract?
No, but just hearing that, I'm already like, I don't buy it. But
I don't either. But I thought it was strange that Travis Kelce, his PR firm, actually issued a statement about it, saying that is false, that they don't. It was like it's not a prenup, but it's like I'm dating Taylor Swift contract, where it's like rules of how long it will last and how she'll determine when. Like, I'm like,
What?
part of me wants to believe that Taylor Swift has a contract when you date her, and part of me is like, that seems too inhuman even for her. But like prenups exist, but like pre-marriage agreements, that seems like a stretch.
Yeah, nah.
So Donovan, you want to believe that their love is real?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I don't hate either of those people. As much as many folks seem to do. So why not?
I actually like Travis Kelce and his podcast and all that stuff. But like, yeah, I just thought it was funny that like amidst the NFL hype, there was this like story last night where it's like, I don't know, it was like TMZ or someone broke the story that there's like a contract. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, what would you put on a contract if you were Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce?
I don't know. I mean, she's got an image to protect, right? So probably nothing that would taint that. I know Travis is a bit of a goofball, but
like, did she look at his dating history? A guy's he was a mess for a while there. I don't know. But yeah, I also want to believe in their love, but I found it amusing that was trending yesterday too. By the way, Twitter, real dumpster fire for information these days, if you can't tell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we stand with Brazil in there. I don't know.
I don't even know. I don't know who I stand with. It's I stand outside watching the dumpster on fire is basically where I stand. But yeah, it sucks for everyone. Oh, I feel bad for the users who got blocked.
Of course. But I do like a stand being taken and be like, hey, Elon, you got to do some policing. It's not cool.
It's gotten worse.
There's collateral damage, of course. I understand that. But.
No, but it's gotten worse. Since the Brazil thing, he's using his AI chatbot to generate really offensive images of all sorts of people. And then people are then in turn using his AI chatbot to create horrific images of him. The funniest one I saw was of him and his family smiling. Because there's no pictures of him with his family, like, ever. So someone like generated one. They're like, here's your family, Elon.
Hey, it didn't exist. It needed to be created.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess that does that work for our cold open?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Let's get ready for the football. You're listening to Shack Together, a Shacknews video game podcast where if you're Concord, you're no longer for sale. Aww. I'm your host, Asif Khan, and today I'm not joined by my co-host, John Benyamine, who's, I don't know. He's
on a plane. He's on a plane.
Oh, he's on a plane?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not in the metaverse. That's, you know what? Maybe he's inside of a headset on a plane. Probably not, because he returned his Apple Vision Pro within a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if only. But I am joined by our producer, Joe Stasio.
Hello.
And news editor and Baltimore Ravens superfan, Donovan Erskine.
What's up?
Oh, just not Concord concurrent player count. Tell you that much.
Wow.
No.
I didn't see this coming, man. I didn't see that Bubbletron was going to beat Concord this year, but here we are.
No. It is hard to overstate how insane that whole ordeal was with how fast it happened, I think.
Yeah.
I don't
Take
think
us through it if no one's aware of what happened. Let's,
yes. Donovan, you've been playing Concord. You reviewed it for us.
I was playing Concord.
You played Concord for review purposes.
Yeah, published my review on Friday, and the game got the shutdown announcement on Tuesday. So
it shuts down this week?
This Friday, which ironically is the day Astrobot releases, which just couldn't be more poetic, sadly.
2 ships passing in the night, one sinking and on fire.
3/4 of the way into the ocean. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, this game, Concord was out for, I know the headline was like, shut down after 2 weeks, It was like 11 days. They didn't even hit 2 weeks from early access. The game came out in late August. It was a $40 video game that they had reportedly been working on since 2016, what's coincidentally is the year Overwatch came out. No correlation there. And they just pulled the plug on it after 11 days, which is absurd, given the amount of millions of dollars they poured into that video game to be developed. It was an entire studio's debut project. It was very unprecedented. I don't think any of us saw that game being around 3 years from now, but I mean, Jesus, even the most random unplayed live service games can make it 5 or 6 months before they go down.
I remember seeing that reveal trailer, and it was like long, right, at Summer of Jeff.
It opened a state of play, but yeah, they also had some stuff at Jeff as well.
But like, okay, so you're right. The reveal was at State of Play, and it was like super long, right? It was like 8 minutes.
Cinematic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I remember being like, this would be cool if it was a single player game. Like, I was like, I'm interested in this universe more than I am playing a hero shooter in it.
Exactly.
And that I thought was a miss early on for the game. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, dude, Quake Champions lasted longer.
Yeah.
What's the reporting on the 11-day turnaround? I mean, like, as in, we all know that, like, anecdotal story of there was several hundred people playing on launch day on Steam, and that's, like, obviously abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
But what does Sony say about this, if anything?
Nothing. They're super...
What the heck?
They're like a black box right now, man. They just fire people, and then they don't say anything. They just announce...
There was a post in the PlayStation blog, but it was written by the game director. It wasn't like a Sony exec putting out any statement.
Yeah, all I'm saying, like, the higher ups aren't saying anything. And honestly, what Donovan said, like, this was a game that was greenlit in 2016. That was the Jim Ryan era. The guy who was in charge of PlayStation at the time is not even there anymore. So it's like, I feel like they have like 2 people now who have kind of replaced him. I don't really feel like it's either of their faults. I think releasing the game in the condition it was in was fine, but like, Donovan, your point about it cost $40, like, you can't do that in the hero shooter genre. It just doesn't work. There's too many free-to-play options.
Yeah, people are playing free-to-play games that they like and enjoy more. They're just not going to pay $40 to see if they're into Concord. I think it's also important to note that in this statement, they explicitly say that this is not like the end quote or like the permanent shutdown. The way Ryan Ellis, game director of Firewalk, talks about it here, he says, the servers are shutting down beginning September 6th while they explore options, including those that will better reach our players. And they say, while we determine the best path ahead, sales will cease immediately. So it seems like at some point they're going to try to re-release this thing, probably free to play. I would imagine is like the first order of business. I don't think that is enough to save it at this point. But I do think it's interesting that they talk about it like we're going to try to do one more thing or make some sort of pivot to give this thing a second chance of life. But
it makes sense because you're talking about them going free to play. A logical thing to do would be to refund all of your loyal players who bought the game because it's going free to play.
They are doing that, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying it's like the right next step if you are going to try to pivot to a free to play model. Give everyone their money back first, because it would really piss people off if it went free to play and they kept your money. So yeah, maybe that's what's going to happen. But like, Donovan, are you going to play the game if it's free?
No, I don't plan on going back to Concord. And they're not going to have enough time to materially change this game in a way that's actually going to make people change their tune about it. Because there's no chance in hell Sony's like, have another year of development. Let's just keep working on this thing.
So what's wrong with it?
That's the interesting thing, right? Because the response to this was like, yep, the game was hot garbage, it's ass. And I'm like, I mean, it wasn't that bad. I thought it was actually like fine. It was decent. It was a good, good shooter. It was actually very polished, very refined.
It looked cool. Look, the art style was cool.
Yeah, the art style was neat. I loved the UI and stuff. There was a lot good about it. I've played far worse multiplayer games and live service shooters. It's just nobody gives a shit about Concord or the North Star or One-Off or Teo or any of these characters, which it's just you're introducing a new IP. It's such an uphill battle to get people to care. Like Marvel Rivals, right? That game got announced a few months ago, came out of nowhere, went into beta this summer, and was putting up like hundreds of thousands of concurrents in beta on Steam. And that game's getting full release in December, and it's going to be massive because it's Marvel and people like Marvel characters, and it's a free game that's cross-platform, cross-progression, and everything.
And you don't have to pay to unlock players in it, I don't think.
Yeah, all the characters are free from the jump there as well.
That's cool.
And Concord is just so clearly trying to be like multiple things that people already like. It's trying to be Overwatch. It's trying to be the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a character called Star Child, and you talk about the cinematic trailer from State of Play, where the whole thing from beginning to end is just like MCU style riffy, wisecracking humor where every character is a smartass or has like the perfect reply to every comment. It's just like, it's the most 2015 kind of writing ever. And it's like that in game too, like when the characters like bark lines out while they're running around. And I'm like, God, this is not what anybody wants in 2024. And then, of course, the dollar price being the biggest barrier to entry. I think that game was DOA for so many people. Just off the fact that it costs $40 when it's like, why? When Apex Legends is free, Warzone is free, Fortnite is free, Overwatch is free now, you know?
Yeah, it just
players are jumping off that ship to play Concord.
Not to mention Deadlock, which is like, it's not free. It is free, but it's like, it's there. You know what I mean? Like Deadlock came out, a week ago for everybody? And
well, it's still only invites.
Playtest.
Yeah.
But like at least you can talk about it now. But I just thought the timing of Deadlock's going public kind of was the final nail in the coffin for this game, because you're a PC player. What are you more excited about? A $40 PlayStation game or a new Valve game? And I think that might have hurt it too. But yeah, it's unfortunate because it's not a poorly made game. I got a 7 out of 10 from Donovan. Like, it's just, you mentioned it here. You said it lacks innovation and the characters feel derivative. And I think those are the two biggest negatives with the game. And then the price tag's the third one for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
I do think the Deadlock conversation is interesting because to, I guess, kind of counter some of my own arguments, that's a new IP. That's not based on like, I mean, it is kind of a gameplay wise, it is a melding of like existing Valve stuff, but all those characters are brand new designs. That world is new that they're creating there. But I think that game is innovating, where it's like this bizarre marriage of hero shooters and MOBA designs that I can't really compare it to. Can't really compare to anything I've played before.
Yeah, and it's coming at a time, where the international's going on. Dota 2 is kind of happening, but that prize pool has fallen precipitously. They got rid of the battle pass for the international. So 2 years ago, the prize pool was $18 million. It's like 2.5 million this year. So I think Valve is seeing, Dota 2 is not the everything game forever. We might have to make a new game. And I think Deadlock is that. And you look at who's playing it, and like Shroud. Didn't like Shroud release a game this month or last month, and he's already playing Deadlock instead?
Spectre Divide just went into like full release. That game's okay. I had like 30K, I think, on launch day.
It's just funny though, because like he just launched that game and he's already obsessed with Deadlock instead. I do think Deadlock played a role in this. I don't think it was a major role, but it's that, I guess it's the point that you made. There's so many free options that this is this felt like there was a PowerPoint presentation in a boardroom before this game was greenlit. Like it didn't. I don't know if this was some creative director was like, this was my vision, or I was told to do this. You know what I mean? Like it just.
No, it reeks of Sony, maybe Jim Ryan at the time, being like, hey, we would love a live service Overwatch like first person shooter. That'll be a PS5 game. It'll become one of our tentpole franchises. You guys make it.
To be fair, they have not had a good first-person shooter exclusive in a while. Like Killzone or whatever, I think was something for a while, and those were okay. But they haven't had that like flagship shooter, and now they didn't lose COD yet, but they lost Activision to Microsoft last year. And I think that some of these things were reactionary. The acquisition of Bungie was a reaction to that. This game was obviously being made before, but maybe the rush to get it out now. That's the thing, though. Like, if they delayed this by 6 months, Donovan, could they have prevented this from happening? Probably not. Yeah.
No, and not unless they were going to make it free and then somehow retrofit the entire world to fit like an IP that people loved, like if they turned it into a Marvel shooter or something. No, I don't think so. But this has just been a failure across the board at Sony. Their entire live service initiative was like a couple years ago. They came out and were like, "We're going to release a dozen live service games over the next half decade," and everybody was like, "Okay." We know they're doing Marathon, the Jade Raymond game, Fair Games, I believe, is still in development.
You want to talk about a game that's already out that they have completely fumbled the management of? Helldivers 2, which was like...
even when they had goodwill, they managed to kind of screw that with the whole...
Think about that. Like, earlier this year, Helldivers 2 was going to be on a lot of people's Game of the Year list. Like, it was... Everyone was playing it. Everyone was obsessed with it. Those missions, like the unified missions, like brought people together online. And I know there's still people playing it. It's not like it's fallen off a cliff entirely, but...
It's doing well.
They have mismanaged, to your point, they've mismanaged almost every live service they've attempted. Destiny 2 being the one I would point out the most. But yeah, like it's what the hell are they doing?
It's almost like they should stick to what they're good at, which was big budget, third person, narrative driven single player games. I mean, even like it wasn't a shooter, but Naughty Dog's The Last of Us multiplayer game that they were like walking in circles on and then pulled the plug at the beginning of this year. They were like, yeah, this just isn't working. And it's like, God knows how much time Naughty Dog spent working on that game that's never going to come out, where they could be, I don't know, 30% into making The Last of Us Part 3 now, or whatever their next IP is going to be.
But like, I don't know if you remember like the Uncharted days, but Uncharted 2 multiplayer was pretty fun.
I mean, Last of Us 1 had a fun multiplayer mode.
Yeah. Like I think Naughty Dog is capable of making a fun multiplayer game. I think didn't we only see like a single screenshot of that at like a Jeff event?
There was a few pieces. Yeah, the first piece of concept art dropped at a Jeff event. And it was like the characters on a balcony looking down. But they had put out another piece of concept art. There were like characters walking up to like a cruise ship that was like abandoned in like a port. Yeah, it was supposed to be a whole live service thing. I don't know. It was a mess. Could just gave us factions mode in part 2. It didn't have to be this massive, big live service game that was going to have seasons and microtransactions and whatnot. But
it seems like they're reacting to a lot of industry trends instead of trying to just, like to your point, just stick to what they're good at.
Yeah.
So let's drill into that point, because as of recording, we have a Astrobot review. For which Shacknews has a very high score, which seems to be par for the course from what I'm seeing. Metacritic's like 94 or something. Shacknews 10 out of 10.
Yep.
And so here's a first party Sony game that I'm just going to guess. I don't know that any of this is public anywhere, but this probably cost quite a bit less to develop, quite a bit less out of pocket, and it's going to sell very well. Not just because of the review scores, but because it's filling a void on the system, I think. And so, like, how, as a publisher, how does Sony not read these tea leaves and say, what a massive risk we took. It has not yet panned out. Even the Bungie acquisition. You're like, what was that about?
I think they were afraid.
But what do you do? Like, what's the next step here? Like, how do you not see what's happening and say, oh yeah, people do seem to want these really high TLC developed single player games that we're known for?
Yeah, I mean, they should pull back a lot of the live service efforts, right? They should let Arrowhead Game Studios do what they're doing, let them cook, give them resources,
or
try to right the ship at Bungie maybe, and let everybody else make what they've been making.
They own part of Epic Games now, right? Like they're a minority shareholder of Epic. Let that be your live service game. Like, just start putting your characters in that more. You know what I mean? Like, embrace Fortnite. Or maybe make games inside of Fortnite. You know what I mean? Like, that's the live service universe. Like, kind of do what Lego's doing. Or what Disney's doing. You know? Like, embrace your partner who's already an expert at this. Maybe that's the future for them, Donovan. Is like Fortnite. At least on the live service side. But then to your point, lean into, like, your awesome studios. You have Santa Monica. You have Naughty Dog. You have, like...
Insomniac.
You know what I mean? Like, you have Sucker Punch. Like, those are all amazing studios, and they make great games. Just
Asobi,
do that. But I guess the point is, Donovan, the margins on a game like Spider-Man 2 are not great, because the game costs hundreds of millions of dollars. They put another few $100 million into marketing it, And then, yeah, it makes $500 million and it breaks even. Like, that's the problem right now. It's the cost of these high quality games is eating into their profits, where I'm not saying all live service games are lower budget, but like once you have the framework out there, you're just throwing more cosmetics onto the platform. You're throwing new modes or whatever.
But
It's
that's
way
the
less
example that's
capital intensive.
licensed, right? Like that example is their license. Like, what does God of War do for them financially? I assume that's a moneymaker.
Yeah. No, these games make money. My point is that they make less money than previous generations. Like the profit margin in the last half a year at Sony for their game division is like 9%. That's pretty bad for a software developer.
Yeah.
So I think that's a problem, and that's why they went to this live service model, or at least thought they could. But yeah, $40 for Concord was dead on arrival. Like, you had no shot. Donovan, would this have succeeded if it launched free to play?
Succeeded might have been a stretch. It would have had more than 25 people playing it when they announced the server shutdown, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen that argument going around that free to play would not have been the huge difference maker, but it would have done better. But I think this game is probably still doomed. I think its issues are a bit more deeply seated than that, but that definitely made it a non-starter for a lot of people.
But yeah, I don't know what the way forward is, Joe, for Sony. I think you're right that they should embrace their first party single player stuff, but the problem with those games is, like, I played the hell out of the Spider-Man 2 game, but then I was done. Like, same, I don't know, do you guys go back and play God of War Ragnarok or Last of Us Part 2?
I did in both of those examples. I did, but and I bought their DLC.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there was $10 out of pocket instead of 70.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's some other route here, and it's, as always, I think it's look at what Nintendo does, and Mario is in 12 gaming franchises, and there's not a lot of that outside of Nintendo.
PlayStation All-Stars is what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, that's the like brute force approach to it, but it's just like, what does God of War look like in a what's that game, Prince of Persia game that came out earlier this year? What's like that tier? Yeah, what's like the God of War Lost Crown look like? You're
saying like they should maybe try to make some $40 games.
Yeah,
that like Nintendo does.
Yes,
interesting. That's actually a very good point. Make a AA budget game.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really smart idea. That's why they want to do it. It's
not like that's. I'm not trying to. It's easy. Just do that. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like supplementing your Lasts of Us, right?
Mm-hmm.
This huge risk is the roulette you play with Concord. Is it's an all or nothing. There is no healthy Concord at 1,000 players. But if you try to appeal to the people that have a huge love affair for some of your IP, and sure, you're not going to get everybody you would get with The Last of Us 3, but if there's some like LE side story that's a little bit more of a AA experience, shorter, much lower fidelity, I think people show up for that stuff.
Didn't they do that with the Uncharted game?
Yes, they did.
They did Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
That actually worked pretty well. Yeah, they did that with Spider-Man. I love that game. Miles Morales that game's awesome.
I don't think that maybe that's exactly what I'm pitching, because those are super high fidelity in both cases, and just kind of shorter.
Yeah, it was just they took the engine that they had and they made a shorter Miles game. But yeah, like, to your point, you're talking more like, I don't know, Nintendo World Championship, like that level of.
There's got to be something to keep everyone sated in between the massive releases, and I don't think I'm alone in saying, like, Concord. You guys are using the term dead on arrival. I'm not even blinking. That just that's not on the radar. And I think as a PlayStation fan, if that's even the right term, you have groomed all of us. I know it's a nasty word. You've groomed all of us to want these like single player. I want to kick back with popcorn on a weekend with my PlayStation. And you're kind of like missing that point when you go all in on live service. Like, it's just it's like a totally different player you're attracting. It's not the traditional PlayStation player. Anecdotal, I don't know anything, but like that's my gut on it.
I think that the problem is that and I don't think Concord by itself was fueled by this, but I really think a lot of the decisions being made at Sony right now are reactionary to Microsoft acquiring Activision, because they didn't take the deal for COD to be supported on PlayStation like Nintendo did, and I can't remember, like several other platforms agreed to it with Microsoft. But like, so when they did that, when they dug their heels in, they're like, we're just going to make our own FPS. And it's like, you guys are entering a space that's like over 30 years old, and you've only had like 1 or 2 successes in it. Whereas like when it comes to a third person adventure game, well, they're the kings of making those. So yeah, I think there's like a level of fear that has been pushing them to make these decisions that were incorrect. But that's what I think the motivation is. But yeah, I disagree with how they've implemented everything so far. But yeah, like I like that idea of smaller budget games, and I think Astro Bot is one of those. And also to your point, like Nintendo has Mario. I don't know what the hell Microsoft has now, Master Chief. Who's that guy? Who's the mascot for PlayStation?
Yeah,
I think it's Astro Bot.
It's looking good right now. I mean, I haven't played the new game. I don't know if either of you have, but that's
Donovan, you have, right?
I've played like the first hour or two, yeah, which I thought was awesome. I love everything I played.
Lean into it.
Well, Astrobot Kart.
Why not?
Astrobot should be in PlayStation All-Stars. They should make a PlayStation All-Stars. But then again, like Multiverses hasn't done much. So maybe, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a mess.
Metroidvania is the way. Just something lower fidelity, but maybe in canon. Give me a reason to show up for $30-$40. Give it a shot.
You're describing Nintendo World Championship to a T.
In my head, it's Lost Crown, but yeah,
no, I get it. Yeah, you're talking double A.
Double A.
This is just something that kind of came to mind. I don't want to like derail the show or anything, but like Ubisoft is really struggling right now as a company.
Yeah.
It's valued at like 2 billion euros. What if Sony bought Ubisoft?
How far down are they? What's the high on Ubisoft?
It was $25 a share in like 2017, 2016. It's $3.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, because the reason I bring it up is like, yeah, I know people think Assassin's Creed, Rayman, but you have The Division and you have Rainbow Six Siege. Those are shooters that are kind of live servicey that have communities. So that might be an interesting chess piece in this game. But that's if they want, because like I know not many things succeed over at Ubisoft, and obviously they're trading for $3 for a reason. But The Division is good, and Rainbow Six Siege is one of the biggest esports in the world still. Like that might be an easy way to try to acquire what you're missing. But outside of that, I don't know what they're gonna do. I do like your idea of cheaper games though.
Hey, we'll see. Speaking of cheaper games, Donovan, tell us about the casting of Frank Stone.
Yes, the casting of Frank Stone, the newest cinematic adventure game from Supermassive Games, who I like quite a bit. That is one of my favorite active video game studios. Their new game, casting of Frank Stone, it's a first for them because it's their first game based on an existing IP, I believe. All of their other works have been original stories, but this is technically in the world of Dead by Daylight. Mm-hmm. They made it in collaboration with Behavior Interactive. And as I wrote my review, I kind of summarized it by saying this essentially feels like a Dark Pictures anthology game, which is their kind of smaller anthology series they've been doing the last 5 or 6 years, where they're like 8-hour-ish games, lower budget of like an Until Dawn or The Quarry, but they get you like your spooky season fix. It feels like one of those, but with a Dead by Daylight theme or sprinkling on it. It is short. I beat it in like 7 hours, my first run. Obviously, these games are meant to be played multiple times. There's branching pathways. They have a cool feature in this one called the Cutting Room Floor, which essentially gives you a full map of like your branching pathways and every decision you made and what the consequence of it was. And you can actually just click on each decision and go back to that point in the story and just play from there. So the way they say it in the description is like, if you can't live with your decisions, you don't have to replay the entire chapter. You can just go back to where you went left instead of right, and then just change your direction and see what the other outcome is. And they also show you like, hey, 47% of players did what you did. The other 53% did the other thing.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah, that was really neat. And I was like, that needs to be in every game they make now.
Yeah, that sounds like something that should be a standard in these games now.
Yeah, because it sucks when you make a shitty decision or you want to change something and you're like, I don't want to play the first 4 hours of this game just to get to that one conversation again.
You know what game needs this? Baldur's Gate 3.
Ooh, that would be a good like final patch for
like
Baldur's
a
Gate
DLC
3.
or like a quality of life improvement. Yeah, not like here's the only way to play it, but man, I would definitely give more time to Baldur's Gate 3 if I could just be like, hey, that last dice roll, can we retcon that? Because I'm dead.
Yeah, so that's definitely the best feature here. But the game itself, I should mention, it's a dual story. Half of it takes place in the 80s and the other half is in modern day. It's like 2023. And essentially it follows this like cult indie film that for some reason somehow became infused with like real evil demonic energy. Like people who watch it, it's like the Ring situation, although instead of like dying, they just become like violent and commit acts of violence. And the film was shot like on location at the site of a serial killer den. So you kind of go back and forth. In the 80s, you play as like the young indie film crew that's making that movie. And then in 2023, you play as a modern group of like young adults who are trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And they find ways to like weave together those stories. And there's some neat stuff there, but I just found that overall, it wasn't like too scary. It didn't really pack any like hard punches. Like the Quarry, a game I loved so much, has so many like memorable set pieces. And I think the dynamics between the characters in that game are so interesting. And the characters in the casting of Frank Stone are a bit of a dime a dozen. There's no real standouts. Nobody I'm like, oh man, I wish this character would show up again in a future game. But it's decent. I think I said in my reviews, like it'll get the job done for Halloween. It'll be a great game to like stream in October, or it'll play with some friends because they do all the like co-op features, or you can make decisions together. There's Twitch integration where you can have chat vote. So it'll get like the fixin' for that, but it's gonna probably be forgotten in the grand scheme of supermassive games at this point. They've made like 7-8 of these, because Dark Pictures has at least 4 or 5 games, although that has been on hiatus for a year or two now until Dawn the Quarry. I think Dead by Daylight fans will really dig it just because there's so many Easter eggs. I've put a few hours into Dead by Daylight, I think, since it came out in 2016, and even I spotted a bunch of Easter eggs. The QuickTime events in this game, they don't do the standard button mashing like press B or X or Y. This one, it's all the Dead by Daylight skill checks where the like circle rotates and you have to like click it while it's inside the little white bar, which in Dead by Daylight you do to like repair generators and get around obstacles and stuff, which I'm like, that's cute. Like, that's a neat way to like mechanically tie it into Dead by Daylight. But there are also other references to characters and the larger mythos from that universe that I think people will dig into. Yeah,
interesting.
So, fine little horror game, but
cool.
And you're also playing NBA 2K25, right? I
am playing that game on my good old Xbox. It's it's a new 2K game. It's got some interesting additions. Something they added in this one, Asif, that I thought was actually pretty cool. So for a while they've done My NBA Eras, which is like pretty much the league simulation mode where you just like control every aspect of a league. You pick your team, you sign players to contracts, you scout, you draft, you do all that stuff. But with eras, you can pick. So you're like, oh, I want to start during the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson era, and then you'll start there and you'll play through. Or like you can do the LeBron era, like the 2010s during
There's
like
the Steph era too, right?
Yeah. So this year they added the Steph era, which starts in 2016. You can play through there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did 2016 go for Steph Curry?
It's funny because I started a league with a buddy in that we did the Steph era because it's the new one, and we did the draft, and the draft auto sorts by character or player overalls, and the number 1 player is LeBron James 98 overall, and number 2 is Steph 97. I was like, how's Steph not the highest overall player in the Steph era?
I don't know. Did you see that block on Andre Iguodala? I'm just saying.
I was I did witness that. But so the cool thing though is outside of eras, when you do play now modes, you can do play now eras, or like quick play eras, I think they call it. So I could invite you to it, also. We just do a regular exhibition play now game, not a league, but we can say 2016 is the era, and then we can pick any team from 2016, all 30 NBA teams. You can be the Bulls with Rondo and Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler.
Yikes.
Or if you wanted to have like the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid 76ers.
No.
Just these random, like the Matthew Dellavedova Bucks when Giannis was first starting to rise.
So this is after the 2016 finals.
I believe so.
Okay, that makes sense, because Delly was on the 2015-16 Cavs. He got paid after winning the final, because LeBron James is just getting everybody paid after they win a final.
Yeah,
but so this is shirtless JR era, is what it really should be called. Yeah,
honestly, but it's like it kind of unlocks like 30, I guess, like 90 new historic teams, technically speaking. Because you could never play as those teams online, at least in 2K previously on a quick play match. But now, if I wanted, I could be the Knicks that had Derrick Rose and Carmelo Anthony for like 2 seasons together. Which that team never existed in 2K outside of the year that they actually played together. So I thought that was fun.
That is so bizarre. There's gonna be some really weird teams. Like
there's so many.
Like is there a Jordan era?
Yeah, I forget specifically the year. It's probably like 93 or
93 to 96 would be like a good, or you could do 93 to 98 if you really wanted to. But I am a Cavs fan. I was a Cavs fan when Michael Jordan existed, and all he did was terrorize the Cavs. So that would be fun to relive.
You could play some Mark Price, like Mark Price team. Yep.
Yeah, Mark Price, Hot Rod Williams, Larry Nance, Brad Daugherty, Craig Elo.
So I thought that was neat. My career is still a disease of a mode for the most part. They changed some stuff very slightly. They let you skip some of the story.
Oppressively unfair to earn currency in the game compared to just buying it? Because that's what I've always found was annoying with my career.
It's like pushing a boulder uphill. It's a tough battle to do for sure. Now, Devil's Advocate, you could just put it on rookie difficulty and only play career and never touch the park, and you'd probably be fine. But it's just for me, it wasn't even the progression that bothered me the most. It's just how like they have made my career an MMO. Like you have quests; they're called quests in the game, and it'll be like, hey, go to the GM's office and talk to him about your minutes. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. I just want to play my next game. And it's like, oh, you can't actually play your game until you complete the talk to the GM quest. And I'm like, God, I was like, how did we get here, man? Where it's just.
That sounds miserable.
It is miserable. It's a nightmare. Is
Jake from State Farm in the story mode?
Oh, that's a good question. I forgot. I haven't seen him yet if he is, but he was in the other one that
he was in last year.
Yeah. But it's stuff like that, and I'm like, man, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to run across a physical city to a store to talk to a person to get to my next game. I was like, my career should just be all menus. You just play next game, play key games, upgrade player, settings. That was it. And we liked it.
And once again, we both have been playing this game. I haven't played it recently, but NCAA or whatever, College Football 25 actually does what you're talking about, where it's just you have to do your homework or you have to talk to someone, but it's like 2 button presses and you're on with your day.
Yeah, it's painless.
Yeah.
Which, again, if I could just press a button and sim a stupid convo with the manager or whatever, I wouldn't mind. But it's like, to be told, when I took to hit play next game, and the game be like, wait, you have to do this first. I'm like, this is unacceptable. It's bad.
That's annoying.
Yeah. When I play 2K, I just do mine be. I just sim leagues is all I do. That's where my fun is found in that game.
Donovan.
Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I have a 2K question.
Okay.
I've been 2K abstinent recently, because for all the same reasons anyone is, because it just never changes really.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume, because you didn't say anything about it, that the game feels more or less the same. But my question is, can you foresee a time ever or soon where they actually make the game engine, like let's call it the NCAA, how that felt different than Madden to you guys, and you spoke about that. Is that ever going to happen? Are they going to make this thing feel a little more snappy and a little more responsive?
That's an interesting question, right? Because I will say I was I played 2K24 like right up until the new one came out. Because I have a homie, whenever we just want to chat, we'll just like run a game of 2K.
Sure.
And it felt slightly different. Like some of the animations, I think felt a little different. Some of the shooting, a lot of the shooting animations look different. Yeah.
The step back animation's different, Joe. But like it's minimal. It's like you can name 5 different animations that are slightly different. But and like I think footwork is probably the most noticeable change. But yeah, like I haven't bought one, I don't think since like 16 or 13. And yeah, my problem is that like I like making creative players and like progressing them, and it just, the way that these games work, you can't bring your character year over year because they want you to spend more virtual currency. That's been my biggest beef with it for a while. But yeah, it's basically the same game. The one question I'd ask about gameplay, are inbound passes still like absurdly easy to steal, or have they fixed that?
You could probably still cheese it, I imagine, if you're like, if you know
what I'm talking about, right? Like this, it's been in the game for like 15 years. I
mean, I haven't seen it happen a lot, but I would imagine, I mean, you could probably cheese it. Doesn't feel all that wildly different from last year's game. Obviously, new year, new shot meter, which, you know, is whatever, I guess. It's just interchangeable at this point. Something they did I thought was interesting is they reduced the number of badges, which are like just the player abilities, like Fearless Finisher and, you know, Deadeye. I think they said there's 50 badges now, which is a significant reduction from last year, but they've merged a lot of them into one badge, which I appreciate that, because I had moments where I'd be playing last year's game and I'd hit a shot and, you know, if you have the overlay and it'll tell you what badge, you know, activated during that play, and it'd be like left side of the mid-range maestro, and I'm like, what? You know, it felt a bit too what's the word I'm looking for? It stretched thin. It felt like they had gotten a bit too niche with some of the badge designs. So I do like the idea of kind of them simplifying and getting back to basics, you know, where it's just like, hey, this is your inside finishing badge. Here's your 3-point shooting badge. Here's your, you know, dribble badge, blah, 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 ankle breakers passing. So that's neat, at least. But this is not, I mean, if you did not like 2K24, 25 is not going to be the one where you're like, oh, thank God, they finally fixed everything.
Right.
2K is 2K, the same way Madden is Madden. I think 2K is better than Madden for sure, but it's I don't know what it'll take for them to have like a major step up. To me, it only ever happens when a new console comes out, right? Like I remember when 2K14 came out, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is like a ground up just reinvention of this franchise. And then 2K21 would have been the one that came out when the Series X PS5 came out. Maybe not the same as strong of a reaction, but still it was like, oh wow, okay, this feels like
it was definitely
a huge elevation.
It was definitely one of the games on those consoles that was like the best showcase of graphics at the time on PS5 and Xbox Series X. But it's frustrating because we need NBA Live. Like there needs to be another basketball game.
They tried. It was a few years ago. They tried to bring NBA Live back, and that just
they've tried it multiple times. Like since I've been CEO or whatever at Shacknews, like they've tried to reboot NBA Live several times and failed every time. But like, God, we need. I say the same thing on the Madden front, which is funny because we're talking about EA right now. But like, 2K needs Live and Madden needs 2K to push each other, because both of those franchises have stagnated because of lack of competition. And that's just frustrating from a gamer perspective.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. 2K is better than Madden. I deleted Madden so fast this year. I delete because, you know, I don't have like the expanded storage on my PS5, so I just have to juggle installs.
Yeah.
And I installed the monkey game, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Right.
But cool. Yeah. John actually filled in what he's been playing lately, but some of these things aren't even games. No, he's playing Call of Duty beta. Same old thing. It's fine. Scratches an itch, but I don't know if I'll care long term. I believe if you have Xbox Game Pass, you could play in the beta.
Yeah, I played a good bit of the Black Ops beta this past weekend.
How is it?
It's decent. My stance at this point with Call of Duty is like, Treyarch's the only studio that I'll get out of bed and be like, do my due diligence on a new Call of Duty at this point. Because I think Black Ops Cold War, their last one, was actually pretty good. That's probably the best of that modern era of COD games. Black Ops 6 feels decent. It's not like, you know, shaking the game up. They have the new, like, Omni movement is like their thing this year, where they're like, this is the new reinvention. Oh, yeah.
Like when you're prone or you're laying on your back and you can, like, look. Yeah.
Well, you can but you can sprint in any direction, and you can dive in any direction. Because when Black Ops came out once upon a time, you know, 14 years ago, the dolphin dive was like the huge thing where you could dive out of windows and shit and over ledges. You can still do that, but now it's any direction, so you can dive sideways like Max Payne or backwards, and you'll see your legs stick out in front of you. They've got like a little medal you get called Action Shot if you like shoot someone diving backwards. That stuff's pretty cool. I have moments where I'll like dive forward over like a staircase, and I'll like turn and have like an actual view of an opponent. I'm like, okay, this actually feels very smooth and fluid. I know that once the hardcore players get in their hands, it's going to be nightmarish when you watch those kill cams and people are doing 360s and sliding off of walls and shit. But
Helldivers 2 has a similar kind of shooting mechanic.
Yeah, you can do a whole lot of diving in Helldivers 2. Very fun in that game. Haven't gotten to play Zombies yet because that's not in the beta, but I'm looking forward to that. Zombies is always fun. I mean, it's decent. Like I said, it's on Game Pass, so I'll check it out. Again, it's another game where, like, if me and my buddies from high school, just want to chill and shoot the shit, maybe I'll fire up a Black Ops with them. But
you guys aren't all huddling around the Concord machine?
No, I don't think any of those folks are touching Concord. No. I mean, I think I'm the only person I know who's played Concord.
You are. And then JB says he's playing Core Keeper, which is also on Xbox Game Pass.
That's a fun video game.
Yeah,
that is a fun video game. I played in early access, but I need to check out the full release.
He's also playing Vampire Survivors on iPad for whatever goddamn reason. That sounds not fun. And then he mentioned we'll save his Minecraft take for when we talk about that later.
Oh God,
Joe, you hit 82 hours in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yes, 83 since I wrote that. Yeah,
a lot of Queen's Blood.
A lot of Queen's Blood. A lot of Chocobo racing.
Okay.
Yeah, some pirate treasure hunting.
So where are we on the pendulum? Liking it? Disliking it? Hate it? Love it? Where are we?
I have enjoyed the past week more than any other section of the game.
He's swinging back towards liking it again.
I am, and it's for a reason. It's not just like, it's not Joe having mood swings.
No, it's not.
The game is super uneven, and it just hit a moment that I would have expected, if I was like part of the game design team, I would have said something like, hey, that thing that happened in chapter 12, could we do that in like chapter 2? And I mean, 80 hours to get to like a fundamental shift in how the game plays is ridiculous. I assume you know what I'm talking about.
Did that too, though, so I can't be too mad at it.
Are you talking about the depths, or?
I'm talking about the fifth sage.
Oh, sure.
Spoilers.
Okay.
We won't talk about it. I'm just saying that I felt like I was sitting at like a 9 out of 10 on Tears of the Kingdom, and then I got to that moment, and I'm like, oh, okay. This game's way better than I thought.
That knocked a few points off for me, if we're being honest. But
no, I know.
I guess it's possible someone has a negative read on the thing. Do you know what I'm talking about, Donovan?
In Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Yes.
I don't think so. I didn't like it. I played
chapter 12.
I don't know.
A large gameplay shift. Something unlocks. I'm being vague. I don't want to say it, but anyway, it's just like, come on. The game's just too freaking long. I say it every week. Anyway, now I'm talking about it too much. Asif, what have you been playing?
It was a rough week for me. I didn't have much time. I've been editing basically most of the YouTube videos on Shacknews YouTube in the last week have been edited or uploaded by me. So Adobe Premiere is probably the number one thing I've been playing.
Okay. What's your hour count on that?
Like 50 in the last week.
Ouch. So oh my God.
Did a lot of videos, man. I was helping Ozzy and Greg. They were at PAX, so we got some PAX coverage up pretty quickly. We have a ton of Astrobot gameplay that's up. But yeah, like because of that, I haven't really had much time to play many games, but I did make time for my favorite video game, F-099.
Yes.
And I got some it's not, I don't have much of an update. I am intra-race. I am hitting first place frequently. It's very hard to stay in first. So I am dying a lot, or I fall back and then I end at like 5th or 12th or something. But yeah, it's rare for me to finish like 20th anymore. I'm either dead and at like 65 to 90, or I'm alive and I'm in the top 10. So I'm enjoying it, still playing different Grand Prix and stuff, and haven't won anything, but still enjoying the hell out of it. But that's literally, I thought about playing other video games, but I haven't really had time to do any of that. So
are you gonna play Astrobot?
Oh hell yeah.
Nice.
I'm huge platforming fan, huge 3D platforming fan, and I really like Astrobot as a character. Like I liked Rescue Mission, which I think was Rescue Mission the one that launched with PS5?
The pack-in, yeah.
And then there was a VR one for PS4, for the PSVR that I also enjoyed. I can't remember what that one was called. But yeah, Astrobot's cool. But yeah, I'll definitely be buying it and playing it probably tonight. The
Nice.
biggest reason I'm going to play it is something TJ mentioned in his review. It does support non-PlayStation 5 DualSense controllers because I fucking hate that thing.
What do you use?
I have a Vitrix BFG is what it's called, and it's the company. They make a lot of arcade sticks, Joe. So they have these interchangeable areas, so you can move the analogs. If you want to have inline analogs, you can. If you want to have offset like Xbox, which I want, you can do that, and then you can swap out the XBAY buttons. You can actually make it like look like a Genesis with like 6 buttons there. The D-pad is better. The D-pad is better than basically any controller out there. Yeah, it's great. It has the touchpad, so you can still do most of those things. But from what I read in TJ's review, they have it so it's mapped where if you have a third-party controller, you can play the game. Because there are like elements like the adaptive triggers. You have to at one point blow on the controller. So yeah, those things, they have mapped them to non-DualSense controllers. I can't stand the DualSense. But yeah, I got this last year. It was great because I was able to go play Spider-Man 2. But yeah, it's I highly recommend that. If you're an Xbox fan, but you don't want to use your Xbox because there's no games that matter over there anymore, the Vitrix is a great controller for Xbox fans who want to play PlayStation. Anyway,
I like it. Looks good. Looks nice.
It is, dude. It's really nice. It's high quality. The battery's not terrible, which is important because the DualSense battery's kind of rough.
It's bad, yeah.
But yeah, not a whole lot of updates from me. F-Zero 99, great game.
Well, you're in luck. I'm going to give you an opportunity to play a game right now, if you're ready.
Ooh.
Sure.
So let's do it. All right, let's go. Let's take a quick break. Okay, everyone, welcome to Before Their Time. I've put together a little game for you centered around the topic of largely service games, if not entirely service games. There are some blurry lines, you'll see, that never had the chance to live in infamy because they were shut down. They were sunset, and it is your job, I am tasking you, with telling me how long they lasted.
Oh.
And we will be trading in the unit of months.
Price is Right rules?
We will not be doing Price is Right rules. I have an interesting concept I'm going to be trying today where, sure, you can win or lose a round, but the ultimate victor will be determined in the style of a round of golf. So at the end of the game, whose ever cumulative month count is closer to the cumulative correct month count will take home victory.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Can you say that last part again?
It won't affect how you play, but the way I will determine a victor is the closer that you are overall.
Okay.
At the end of the game, meaning it's okay if you lose all the rounds, you could still potentially win the game. That's how this works.
I see.
Well, I'm glad I'm not keeping score.
I've got a little math I've set up here, so we're gonna try it.
Okay.
Just trying to keep it fresh, you know.
It sounds fresh.
It's fresh. Oh, it's fresh.
You know what this is? It's like the Shacknews Quietest Lobby of the Year All-Stars, Donovan.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm like,
Killer's Row.
Yeah, I'm going to dig deep into my brain to remember those award winners.
Here we go, fellas. There's no buzzing in. You each get a chance to answer. And once again, I'm going to look for the number of months.
You're going to call on us?
Yep.
Okay.
You're going to tell me the number of months
that this game was live? Okay.
First up, Asif.
Okay.
Knockout City.
I knew that'd be on here. I knew that game was going to be on here.
Oh, man. Damn. Oh.
God, I hate that game is on here. Knockout City was good, man.
Knockout City was good. That was fun. It was fun.
It was a really good game. I'm going to say it's 12 months.
Okay, 12 months, he says. Donovan.
I'm going to say 10 months. I don't think it got a full calendar year.
It lasted just over 2 years, launching in May of 2021 and wrapping up in 2023, June of 2023.
Wow.
Time is fucked. Way longer than I thought it did.
You know what it is, though, Donovan? We're in that pandemic era. Yeah. Time didn't exist in 2021.
Yeah, things
Or
that happened between 2020 and 2023 could have been weeks apart for all I
That was like 8 years mentally for most people. So yeah, that's fine.
Man, not gonna say it was fun. You talk about inventive. You know, that game had a cool mechanic that you can't do anywhere else.
Yeah, that game was awesome.
No streams are fun. Yeah.
I'm sad now. Congratulations, Joe.
Well, there's going to be a little bit more of that. So next up is Marvel's Avengers, and let me clarify what I mean, because there are a number of games on here that I guess you could technically still play
single player part.
Yeah, you can still play Knockout City technically.
Yes, but we're looking for that date that was, a press release that says this is, you have until XYZ to play Marvel's Avengers. So how long did Marvel's Avengers last before that press release hit?
Can I just butt in and say something I noticed here? Am I the shitty live service reviewer at Shacknews? I'm just realizing, because I reviewed Concord, I reviewed Marvel's Avengers, and I reviewed Knockout City, which, to be fair, I like that game.
You're also our Fortnite expert.
Yes, all these games you come, I reviewed this game.
It's the Donovan Kiss of Death. That's what it is.
Yeah, maybe it's not that you're the one you're being assigned to these. It's
the other way around.
Yeah, you're like the Grim Reaper of live service games. I think maybe that's what's going on, Donovan.
It could be it.
Well, Asif, Marvel's Avengers. What say you?
Did Donovan say how many months?
No, you're up first, Asif.
Okay.
I go first?
I guess we could snake it. Let's snake it. Donovan, you're up first.
Let's snake it. Donovan, go first.
I'm going to say, I know exactly what month and year this game came out because I reviewed it, but I'm trying to remember how long I think it lasted. I'm going to say 18 months. I'm going to say a year and a half.
Okay.
What game are we talking about?
Square Enix's Marvel's Avengers.
No.
Oh, man. That was... What did Donovan say?
18 months.
I'm going to say 8 months.
8 months? Oh, my God. Wow. No, you're both wrong. The correct answer is 36 months, so 3 years of service.
3 years, okay. I know that game got post-launch DLC. They did the Black Panther expansion. They did some Thor stuff, I think.
This is really going to just be us showcasing how COVID affected our sense of time.
Yeah.
That's really what this game is about.
8 months is pretty wild.
It felt like 8 months, too.
Yeah, wow. Okay, here's one. I have a very limited memory of this. Let's see how you guys fare. Evil Dead, the game.
Okay, this is me first.
Greg just felt a strong chest pain and he doesn't know why.
Yeah, he's in the Bay Area. I'm going to stick with 8 months.
Okay.
I'm going to take what I think and then bump it up by several months and say 18 months again.
Wow. Asif, well done. Evil Dead, the game, lasted a mere 9 months.
Wow.
There we go.
Before getting some server updates.
Is very, very unhappy about how that game was handled post-launch.
It was cool. The monster mechanic in that was cool.
Yeah, it was neat. I remember possessing the car and making people get out of it. It was funny.
But they stayed true to the actual source material. The camera for the monster.
Yeah, it's the Raimi cam was really cool. I forgot about that.
That was fucking dope.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that studio makes games that don't last very long, unfortunately.
That's the constant here, though, is that a lot of these games did have interesting or original things about them. It's just they just weren't big enough. They weren't doing Apex, Warzone, Fortnite, whatever numbers.
There's a game I have in mind that if Joe doesn't say it, Ozzy's going to be really sad.
Okay, we'll see.
I know what you're talking about. The Ozzy hint. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah. We will see. Next up, Hyperscape.
Oof.
That's Donovan goes first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Remember when Ubisoft made a battle royale, you guys? This one I managed to avoid. I believe TJ reviewed this one. I somehow got out of Hyperscape.
See? You don't always review the trash live service games.
That's true.
There's just a lot of them, Donovan. Just a lot.
This one, I'm going to say 6 months.
I'm going to say 3 months.
Wow. What I have here, and I'm double checking it now, is 20 months.
What?
So I think this may have just been lingering. Hyperscape.
No. Man, I feel like Hyperscape was an open shut case.
No.
I do.
No, that's it seems to be right. Yeah.
Is it one of those where they were we're not taking the servers off yet, but don't expect any more content updates, so that one day they just pull the plug? I think
that's that. Right. Like the press release hit 6 months before the server ended, kind of thing.
Yeah. That could see that being the deal.
Wow. 20 months it lived. Okay. Next up, let's see how well you know this one, Donovan. even though it's Asif's turn first. The Pokemon trading card game online.
Oof.
How long did that last?
That I'm gonna say 36 months.
36 months. Donovan.
Yeah, I gotta admit the TCG is a weak spot for me in my Pokemon lexicon. So, I'll say 28 months.
28 months. You guys couldn't be more wrong.
Damn.
Pokemon TCG Online had a healthy 12-year run.
Okay.
144 months.
That's right.
Okay, I see. Yeah, because in my house,
really?
I was like, I didn't know that thing went offline.
It went
Not
offline.
an unsuccessful live service. That's just a live service that stopped. I don't know.
Yeah. That was.
Hey.
One of these things is not like the others, all I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes, the game went offline, it looks like June 5th, 2023, and launched in 2011.
Wow. I'm looking forward to that pocket.
I did just go back and look at the Hyperscape stats, and yeah, 20 months. It launched in 2020, and it got shuttered in early 2022. Once again, COVID time dilation.
That's right.
Our last article was the review. It was just nothing. We didn't even bother when that game got shut down.
I think TJ streamed it once, and it was like god awful, and we're like, we're done. Sorry. Anyway.
Are you ready for the next one, Asif? Sure. Cliffy B's Lawbreakers.
Oh! A game that lives in Shacknews infamy. we talk about Escape. We don't go a month without referencing Lawbreakers.
The Dark Souls of competitive first-person shooters. That's what Cliff Blazinski dubbed it. Sitting in our booth at E3.
Yeah.
Where he also noticed that Goatsy was on display. Lawbreakers. I want to say made it a year. I'm going to say 14 months.
Okay. Donovan?
Lawbreakers. I'll say 18 months.
Wow. Lawbreakers launched in August 2017 and wrapped things up the following year in September. So 13 is the correct answer. Well done, Asif.
How about
very, very, nice. Very good.
He knows his Lawbreakers.
Yeah. Better than anyone, some might say.
I think the Lawbreakers logo is still my Steam avatar.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not the Lawbreakers logo. It's the Deadzo was his name. It's like the face of the game or whatever. But yeah, anyway.
Next up, we have Rumbleverse.
There it is.
Rumbleverse.
Crying somewhere right now.
Rumbleverse.
Yeah, like that
Donovan's going first, right?
Yep.
I'll say 13 months.
13 months from Donovan. Asif?
I'm going to say 8 months.
Once again, Asif, you are right in there. The correct answer is 6 months. August 22 to February 23. A very short-lived stint.
Great game.
Good Lord.
It's a very good game. It sucks that it happened like that, but it was fun. That was a great idea. Fucking battle royale with wrestling moves. Come on.
So many of these games would have just been like beloved classics had they come out in like 2009. Imagine Knockout City was on like the 360. People would have loved that game.
Yeah. I think the Fortnite overhang has hurt a lot of these live service games.
Asif, tell me a little bit about Amazon and their game Crucible. Does this ring a bell? Amazon's Crucible.
I know it all too well. I bet Donovan played it. Let's see. Amazon games Crucible.
Yeah.
That was like super embarrassing. I think it's like 3 months.
Okay. Donovan?
Crucible was very short-lived. Sorry, I was trying to see if I reviewed it because I feel like I played that game for Shacknews. Maybe it was a preview.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2 months.
2 months. Okay. I guess anything's on the table after what Sony pulled earlier this week.
I know Crucible was less than a year. That game was gone quickly. I remember seeing that being like, oof.
I thought it might have been 0 months, like it was canceled before it came out or something. But
Amazon's Crucible, according to my data, was released in May 2020, just months after the pandemic hit, and swiftly shut down November that same year. 6 months is the correct answer.
So I win.
Wow.
That's just oof.
That was terrible.
Yeah, apparently. Wow.
Oh god, this is the game that they reverted this game to a closed beta after it came out. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
That's what it is. That's what was ringing a bell. Okay.
Yeah, it was like a month after release. They reverted it to a closed beta, and then they announced the shutdown a few months later. What a painful, painful death.
That sounds worse than Concord. But
I mean, that's what's about to happen. They're gonna try to relaunch it as something. It's gonna be embarrassing. But
anyone else think the name was just dumb?
It's very milquetoast.
Yeah.
All right, who's up next? Is this Donovan's turn, I believe?
Or Donovan. Yes,
Donovan went last, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about EA and BioWare's Anthem.
Oh.
ooh, yes, 2018 classic Anthem. Hey, the jetpack flying stuff in Anthem was pretty cool.
I know.
I'll say 14 months.
14
Okay.
from Donovan.
I'm gonna say 20.
20 from Asif. Here's the correct answer. As far as my research tells me, this was a bit of a curveball, little jab at you guys.
It's gonna be one of them.
Anthem's still kicking.
Wait, you can still play Anthem online?
Based on some cursory research, I think you can still play. I think you can still play Anthem.
Huh.
I'm checking.
This was a trick question.
It was a trick question, yeah.
That is fascinating. Are they really keeping those servers online for Anthem right now?
Reworking after release.
I mean,
No, so here, okay, according to Bloomberg, BioWare and EA announced on February 24th, 2021 that they were discontinuing any future work.
Mhm.
that's one of those where they just let it be a zombie.
They will continue to support the live servers for the immediate future.
Hey,
That's it.
There's a post on the Anthem subreddit from 2 days ago that says, after the Concord debacle, Anthem's still going. And it's got 129 upvotes and 90 comments. So
Technically, it was online, it was being developed for and supported for 3 years from its release.
Mhm.
But
it does look like it's still online, though.
yeah, so I guess
I did not
good
know
work,
that.
Joe. You got us there.
I
But
got you.
now we're both infinitely wrong, though. So are you just going to throw out that question? Because
I'll throw it out. I was going to say Asif was more correct for having the
But,
higher
like,
number, but yeah,
by
I'll
one.
toss it. I'll toss it.
Boo that question.
Boo
What a
to the
game.
question. Just having a little fun, you know.
Boo
I'm
Anthem.
like Jigsaw over here, you know.
Boo Anthem.
Let's see. Let's just do a couple more. We'll do a couple
Am
more.
I going to have to saw my leg off in this podcast?
Yeah, I'm going to stretch your body an extra 2.5 feet.
Yeah.
And then you have to answer some trivia questions about shutdown games.
And then Oompa Loompas will sing me off.
How about Paragon?
Paragon, interesting. That's one that was just back in the news recently because of that spiritual successor that got announced.
Yeah, I thought it was Asif.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
that's you.
Okay, it's me. Paragon. I'm going to say 12 months. Seems long.
Okay.
Paragon, I'll say 26 months.
26 from Donovan. Okay. I'm getting mixed results here. You're going to hear live calculations happening.
Yeah, I'm just banking on that game having been around longer than we thought it was. That seems to be the theme here.
Early access started, let's see, Paragon early access, Paragon game release date. You'd be surprised at how hard this information is to find.
Yeah, people didn't care much about Paragon. Apparently not even enough to document it when it went offline.
We're definitely in the realm of 2 years is the correct answer. I'm just trying to figure out the exact amount.
That would sound right for that game, at least that ballpark.
Okay. March 2016 is the release.
Wasn't that the month Overwatch came out? March 2016? Or maybe Overwatch was May.
May was
Overwatch came out in
Overwatch. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the shutdown date,
2018.
2018, but what date?
March 19th, according to...
So yeah, exactly 2 years. Okay.
What did Donovan
Wow.
guess? 20?
26.
He got that one.
You got that one. Wow. Sorry for the slowness there. These dates are... I'm getting mixed results on some of these, but okay.
I said this when you told us the rules of this game. I was like, I don't know how you're going to keep track of the score. Good luck.
Well, I'm keeping track of the score. The challenge so far has been getting the truth.
Welcome
Thanks-
to the
thanks,
internet in
Elon.
2024,
Yeah.
man. Welcome to the internet in 2024.
Goodness. All right. Let's do two more.
Okay.
It's a good one here. Battleborn.
Oh, man.
Ooh,
Battleborn.
I don't know anything about that one.
I played it at E3.
This me.
Yeah.
I'll just guess 13 months.
That's not a bad guess.
You have no clue with this game.
I'm going to say 20 months.
Okay, 20 months. You guys are way off.
Uh-oh.
This game lasted a unthinkable 5 years before the servers were shut down.
Wow.
Released May 2016, the cursed release date, so near Overwatch.
Yeah,
And
that's
Doom.
rough.
And Doom, that's right. And in January 2021, the beginning of that year, it was shut off. Wow.
Rough.
57 months of service.
That's
But that-
insane.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's wild.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Asif takes that one. Let's see. How about Realm Royale?
Is Realm Royale? Wait.
Is it me first?
This is going to be Asif first, I believe.
Royale? I don't even know what the fuck this game is. 8 months.
I think this game is still going. Or maybe it's one of those where the name is so generic, there's so many games that sound like it.
Yeah.
So I guess when that game was just like still active. I'll guess 2 years, 24 months.
24 months. The correct answer is, wait for it. I'm corroborating.
Did it not get shut down?
I'm corroborating.
It'd be funny if AI chatbots started saying that when they were thinking, I'm corroborating.
I'm corroborating.
Then just give you the wrong answer.
Speaking of
I'm
AI chatbots, running this game and getting the Gemini response that I can't trust is why this is so hard.
I agree. You know who's still the best source of information on the internet?
Chatty?
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia does not have the answer I'm looking for in this case.
No, I'm over there trying to help out, and I can't find an answer. It seems like it's still live.
So what happened was it got relaunched under a different name,
Yes.
and the original Royale was shut down, but I'm trying to figure out freaking when. Okay, I got it.
August 2022. It became Realm Royale Reforged.
That's right. But I have that as February 20th.
No, it was the first major update since February 2020.
What's
August
the date
20
you have? Give me the date.
August 22nd, 2022 is when the game was relaunched and updated as Realm Royale Reforged.
Okay, that puts us at
3 years.
46 months, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. I still don't remember this fucking game at all.
I remember seeing this logo all over the PlayStation Store. That's all I remember.
High Res Studios. It was a UE3 game. Yeah, I don't.
Okay. I got one more, and this one shouldn't be controversial. I got one more for you. Who's up first?
I think Donovan is, right?
Donovan, tell me a little bit about Gundam Evolution.
Oh, no.
I'm mistaken or something. Didn't this just come out? I'll say 12 months.
Okay.
I'm going to say 5 months.
5 months. Wow. Donovan's very close. The correct answer is 14 months from September to November the following year. September 22 release date. Okay.
That game wasn't bad. It just had one Gundam that was horribly balanced, and it just became unplayable. But it was like Overwatch with Gundams.
That's right. Yeah. Now it's ringing a bell. Let's start and look at some screenshots here. Okay. So here's who won the game. This is how this works. There were a total of, in all the questions asked, 400 months of on time. So the correct answer would have put your column, rather, would be as close to 400 as possible. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
So for all the games I mentioned, the uptime was 400 months, is what I'm saying.
So that's par.
Yes.
Okay.
Asif, your total month count comes in at 137 months.
Oh, man.
Donovan,
What's up?
your total month count comes in at 188 months.
Damn.
Ooh. I saved myself on those last couple because I started guessing high month counts the last couple questions.
Yeah.
I kept undershooting all of them.
The 4 years of Paragon really fucked me.
God, Paragon.
Yeah, but you guys were when you guys were wrong, you were similarly wrong. Let's see, what was the nail in the coffin here? I'm looking.
Like maybe Battleborn and...
I think it was Death by a Thousand Cuts by Donovan. I think got pretty much dead on Paragon.
Well, that kills my win streak. I don't know. I had, like 3 games in a row?
Yeah, you had a good streak there, for sure.
You got me.
Wahoo!
What are we going to do? We got to have some sort of like championship at the end of the year, right? Like
I would
like have multiple people on, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have to do that.
Like a Shack Together Battle Royale.
Yeah, like a little tournament, or maybe we'll do a month of tournaments.
Draw like a circle of chalk around us in the street. and just make it get smaller over time.
I'm just constantly drawing the circle. It's so hard.
Yeah. I think that would be cool.
Well,
God,
thanks
real life battle royale. Let's do it.
That's very funny. Thank you both for playing before their time. I apologize for my I'm not going to take all the blame, but my inability to get correct information and some of it being on the fly. But thanks for your patience. Congrats to Donovan. And let's dive into story time.
Yeah, we'll be right back with story time, so stay tuned. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. Hey guys, did you hear about this game Astrobot?
Wow.
I have.
It got a 10 out of 10 at Shacknews. TJ Denzer reviewed it and had really nice things to say about basically everything. Some standouts would be the graphics are stunning. The art style is really beautiful. A lot of varied gameplay experiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a celebration of the DualSense controller in a lot of ways. Like you fly around on a spaceship that's literally a DualSense controller. It uses stuff like the tilt controls and
the way it uses the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers is the best example in that console. Hands down, it's pretty phenomenal.
What's interesting is that was true of the other Astrobot game that came with the PS5.
Yeah.
It was like a great showcase of the controller. And it reminds me of how Nintendo used to design their controllers very much around the next Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is like kind of the same thing. One thing I'll say about this game that stuck out to me is you have a jetpack, which means it's a good video game, but it's a robot dog jetpack, which makes this an excellent video game.
Wow.
So yeah, some of the pros, plenty of fun interactivity and gimmicks that aren't overused. There's like different gameplay mechanics that get introduced like for a level. Large collection of levels full of secrets to explore. Bouncy and charming soundtrack. Yeah, I think this might be the best music of the year. Makes great use of the DualSense. Alternative control options. If you don't want to use the DualSense controller, I mentioned that earlier. The power-ups are pretty fun to play with. And then the only con in this 10 out of 10 review was that you will miss out on some fun interactions if you don't use the DualSense controller. Kind of back to what Donovan was saying, that it is like, it really does showcase what that controller can do. Yeah, this game is gorgeous. It's very, very stunning looking game. I do wonder how challenging it is. Because, I think the cool thing about Mario games, and I think it's fair to compare these two, Mario games are cool because anyone can play them, but they offer a challenge for even the most hardcore of gamers, right? So it's like this balance where you can play the game, like Odyssey, for example. You can beat Odyssey, but then there's the dark and the darker side of the moon, right? I don't know if Astrobot ever gets that difficult, from what I understand.
Yeah, I could see that being a bummer. I really bounced off of that launch game, the Sackboy, because it was so passive. Like easy is not even the right word. It's just like you're just going left to right or forward. Like there was nothing happening, and I worry a little bit about I worry about the same thing here. I don't think it's quite as passive, but
no. There's stuff to do. There's enemies to attack. There's secrets. I think they do a really good job with the secrets and finding them and stuff. So yeah, it's not. I'll play it. So you'll hear my impressions next week. But everything I've heard, this game is excellent, and Sony really needs it right now. This is a kind of game that could rally the troops around the platform. It seems like the perfect game to bundle with a PS5 Pro.
Oh boy,
I'll throw it out there. But yeah, I don't know. Donovan, you want to say anything else about Astrobot?
I think it's awesome. I agree that I only played the first couple of worlds. For what it's worth, I didn't feel like it was very difficult in that, period. You mentioned the PS5 Pro, Asif.
Mm-hmm.
There was something interesting that I saw, like, just as we were going live here, that PlayStation posted a 30th anniversary, graphic.
Oh.
And they have like silhouettes for all their consoles and controllers. And there's one where it's like a PS5, but on the side it has like horizontal lines on it, like 3 or 4 horizontal lines, which I don't believe the PS5 the existing PS5 has that. So all that stirring up some discussion. So that announcement's probably incoming.
Well, stripes are slimming, Donovan, and that is a chonky console. So maybe they're just trying to doll it up.
It's also true.
Interesting. But yeah, I think we're going to get a PS5 Pro announcement at Tokyo Game Show. So
that makes sense.
You know what the first day of Tokyo Game Show is?
I don't know.
September 26th. You know why I bring that up? Because it's a perfect segue to our next quickie. Trademark. Balatro is coming to mobile on September 26th, you guys.
Oh boy.
Wow. You've
That
been
means
asking
we
for this.
have 3 weeks before productivity falls off of a cliff.
I mean, Echoes of Wisdom comes out that day as well.
I know.
Good
How?
lord.
How? Dude, Balatro in your pocket is an extremely dangerous thing.
It is.
Like
That takes a lot of responsibility.
I'm afraid. I'm
Mhm.
afraid to download this. But it's going to be mobile game of the year.
It has to be. I think TJ said it himself. He's like, hello to the easiest mobile game of the year vote we'll ever have. Also, Ozzy's going to be playing Battlefield for the first time on mobile when it comes out, and is the most traveled Shack staffer. I mean, he's going to put hundreds of hours into that thing.
Yeah.
Sitting at airport terminals.
It's coming at a perfect time, man, because like football Sundays take over the television, but boy,
Amazing couch game.
yeah,
Amazing couch game.
what a great couch game. And it's already great in handheld on Switch or on Steam Deck. So I'm not saying
Mhm.
like that's not already a thing you can do, but I can tell you like Marvel Snap was that game for me a couple years ago where I would play it while I was watching something. And this is going to be that.
What's going to be important to me for this being on mobile is how well the game handles jumping in and out. Like if I'm in the middle of a run and I just lock my phone and put it in my pocket and I take my phone back out 20 minutes later,
Yeah.
will I snap right in? Will it be like a weird loading thing, like get kicked out? Because I mean, it's an offline game, so I'm curious how smooth that experience will be, because that's pretty important for mobile games for me.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point. Like, will it save your state?
Mhm.
Because that's what makes playing it on Switch so great, or even on deck. Hopefully they thought of that. I imagine they did, but this is dangerous, you guys. We have 3 weeks. We have 3 weeks to be productive as possible, because this is gonna, I don't know.
That
I'm
game's
very
awesome.
excited for it. It's still my game of the year.
Mhm.
But now we have Astrobot showing up, and now we have not Tears of the Kingdom, Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about here in a second, because Ozzy had a chance to play it, and I'm jealous. There's no good way to transition to this next story. There was a Minecraft movie trailer that dropped.
Yeah.
Boy, the things you could say about that one, man, that looks awful. That just looks terrible. Is sad. I was watching that trailer, but
I was just confused. I was like, is this what it really is going to look like? And like,
oh yeah,
and that's what Jason Momoa is going to look like in the movie? And that's what Jack Black's going to look like? That's Steve?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That looks nothing like Steve.
Yeah. I mean, I hope the kids enjoy it. I'm sure kids will go see it and enjoy it. I just, I don't know. I'm like, I said it in our call yesterday, but I'm like, man, Minecraft, just this bastion of endless creativity and imagination where there's no limit to like what you can accomplish in that game. And then for the first trailer of the movie to come out, and it just looks like the most generic CGI shitty Hollywood humor drivel. I'm like, man, especially in this era of video game adaptations too, I'm like, I would argue since the Lego movie, which came out 10 years ago, the floodgates have been wide open for an awesome Minecraft movie. Like, your blueprint was right there. And this just does not look good at all.
No, I would go as far as say as it looks bad. But I'm also not the target demo for this movie, so I know that. But coming off of Borderlands 4, or not Borderlands 4, but Borderlands the movie, stinking up the joint, I think it's safe to say that video game adaptations are not all slam dunks.
I was gonna agree with you and be like, I'm also not a target demographic on this one, but I am actually. I was 11 years old when Minecraft came out, so I'm not gonna back off of this one and be like, hey, it's not for me. God damn it! I was playing Minecraft as a kid.
Yeah,
I would have liked a really good Minecraft movie.
Yeah, no,
that would have been cool.
I am reminded that this is a Warner Brothers Discovery joint, and they suck at almost everything. So it's not that surprising this is going to be ass, but really unfortunate, man. It's an IP that deserves better, I think.
I just don't know why this isn't an animated movie. It's like on a surface level, just before we even get into how bad it looks, I'm like, why is this not a fully animated movie?
You know what's the most damning endorsement I've seen of this film? Notch tweeted,
I saw that.
Oh, he said, "Okay, I'm in. Wow, this is a weird feeling."
Yeah,
so just Notch. He has no taste in anything. He thinks it looks good. He's also the creator of the game.
Oh man, yeah. Of all the endorsements to get.
Moving on. Dragon's Dogma and Devil May Cry director Hideaki Itsuno leaves Capcom. He's leaving Capcom after 30 years at the company. He said, "I have an announcement for all my followers. At the end of August 2024, I will be leaving Capcom after 30 years and 5 months. Thank you for your long-term support of the characters and games I have been responsible for. I hope you will continue to support Capcom's games and characters. From September, I will start developing a new game in a new environment. I hope to create fun, beautiful games that are as memorable as, or even more memorable than, the ones I have created so far. Please stay tuned for my next creation."
Wild.
I mean, hell of a run, Jesus.
Yeah.
And like Dragon's Dogma 2 is a pretty sweet way to go out at Capcom. That's an excellent video game. Also, man, what does this mean for the future of Devil May Cry? I think is a good question to ask.
I always find it interesting that someone who's that successful has a good track record. You know, the most recent thing they did was a success. Presumably they want to work on lower stakes, smaller, more creative stuff. That's just the interpretation, right? But like Capcom would probably have funded that. You know, like he's a company man and he's got a lot of goodwill and feels like the kind of guy that could kind of get whatever he wants, within reason. And so I just find it interesting that he would have to leave to exercise that creative juice he's looking for.
Maybe it's because he's so good at making Dragon's Dogma and Devil May Cry games that there's like, it's kind of like
Smash.
Sakurai.
Yeah. Where
he's like just stuck making Smash Brothers games. So that could wear on a person, especially a creative person.
For sure.
Maybe it's something like that.
That sounds right.
Which is unfortunate. I really like the Devil May Cry series. They're some of the most fun button mashing action games out there. So Valve's making more video games, you guys. The Risk of Rain developers, Hapu? Is it Hoppo or Hapu? Hapu? Whatever. They made Risk of Rain. They are working on a game. They're joining Valve to make a game. So we don't know what it is. Today we have an exciting update. Duncan and Paul, alongside many other talented members of Hapu Games, will be joining or now be working on game development directly at Valve. We're incredibly grateful to Valve for their partnerships in the last decade and are excited to continue working on their awesome titles. However, this does mean we're stopping production on our unannounced game, Snail. So they announced and killed a game. There's a record, Joe. They killed the game in a press release where they announced it.
Right.
So that would have been 0 months in that game we were just playing.
Right.
It's been an exciting and transformative 12 years. We feel lucky for the opportunities we've had, and deeply appreciate both our team and fans who have supported us in our games. We love making games and will continue to do so for years to come. We're excited to be working side by side with the talented people at Valve, but for now, sleep tight. Hapu Games. I think congratulations to them. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
God, it's just nice to see like good news about a game studio.
Yes.
So we also reviewed Sumerian 6. This game it dropped on, I think it came out on like Sunday already. Got an 8 out of 10.
Looks like Desperados.
It does kind of have that feel. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what. Oh, one of the cons is it is a bit too similar to Me's games. So it's almost too similar to Desperado 3 and
look at that vision cone. You see that in the screenshot? It's a carbon copy.
Yep. So
but hey, I'm not above it.
They also said a handful of less inspired areas and stilted puzzles, and also just an exorbitant amount of quips that may not be necessary. The pros were that it rewards creative thinking and open-ended approaches, strong skill selection that leads to inventive combos, and superb stage design. 8 out of 10 is not a bad score.
No.
So if you're into that style of game, Sumerian 6 is an option. And then our last quickie here, this is weird. Guilty Gear is on Switch.
Yeah,
Guilty Gear Strive is on Switch.
No
Yeah.
crossplay though, so the Switch people can just duke it out amongst themselves.
And it has crossplay. Sorry, it doesn't have crossplay, but it has rollback netcode. So it's probably one of the best fighting game experiences on the Switch when it comes to online play. I don't know if I know that it's like people were like, "Oh, thank God, Switch isn't going to have crossplay with PC, PlayStation, Xbox." I'm like, it kind of sucks because why buy it then? Why buy it for Switch when you could have it on PC or somewhere else?
Yeah, I don't know why, to be honest, but
It would have been fine if it was just like a toggle, like you could turn off matchmaking on Switch. But I don't know. It just feels like you're releasing this game way later than it was on other platforms. It's obviously not going to be the best way to experience it. And then it's like you can't even play with the existing community. I don't know. It just seems like that's silly. But the game's great. So I'm sure there's some people who don't have other consoles, or don't have a PC that will pick up that game and maybe just play the single player experience and enjoy the hell out of it because it is cool. We did it. Those are our quickies. On to Previewza. Oh my God. Preview Palooza. Did you watch this extended overview trailer for Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Joe?
Watching it right now.
Okay. We got basically, I think 4 really big news hits in this. One is the introduction of the Still World, which is basically where everything that gets ripped apart in the world of Hyrule goes to and will eventually disappear if Zelda doesn't save them. The game has dungeons, actual, real Zelda dungeons.
Wow.
I know. And Zelda has she can find a mysterious sword, not a master sword, a mysterious sword that gives her the sword fighter form, and it has a cooldown that you can level up. So there is a sword that Zelda can use to fight alongside of her echoes. So I thought all that looked cool. They also showed off Dampé and his robots. They're called automatons. So they're going to be robot things that you can do in this game. Kind of like this, maybe not like the Guardians, but those constructs in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's this game it's doing stuff that rhymes with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but it's not exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested in that. But the idea of creating a real open world 2D Zelda game is really interesting to me.
Yeah, this game looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to playing this.
Literally comes out the same day as Balatron on mobile, so I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. So Ozzy got to try out the game at PAX West, and he said Echoes of Wisdom adds some Breath of the Wild to the series formula. It just sounds fucking awesome. There's a trampoline in the game, so pretty sweet. Tell me if this sounds like Tears of the Kingdom to you, Joe. With no weapons on my person and Link cutting through enemy echoes easily, I did what any intrepid warrior would do in this situation. I threw a rock at him.
Yeah.
How many times does Zelda just break down to hitting dude with rock? But it worked. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
it looks really good. Looks really good.
This game I'm excited. I'm very excited for it.
I'd rather play this on the Nintendo Switch successor. But because even this footage is a little choppy, but
you know what I'll say about what it looks like, and this will sound a little weird maybe. It looks like Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Yeah.
It looks a lot like Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's what if we made an Animal Crossing game where you could do things? That's this game. But it must be the same engine. I'm interested in what that means for how they could design levels and stuff. But yeah, I'm very intrigued by this too. Ozzy was raving about it. Greg was raving about it. Greg got to play it too at PAX. I'm interested to just see this is kind of tangential to this, but do you see this whole argument about the Zelda timeline this week? Probably not. You're not on Twitter, Joe.
I did not see.
Nintendo posted they released a new Masterworks for the Zelda franchise, and there's this one page where they're the timeline doesn't add up anymore, and it's no, Breath of the Wild is still at the end of the timeline, and Tears of the Kingdom is a sequel to Breath of the Wild. but there's just a lot of arguments about the timeline not mattering or it's not real or whatever. My opinion is that like there have been a lot of Zeldas and a lot of Links, and some of them are related and some of them aren't. And it's really up to the fans. Like, I don't think Nintendo ever set out to be like, this is the same Link as this. Like, they don't. They're just trying to make video games here. I don't think when they made that gold cartridge, they had some sort of MCU plan for the next 30 years. You know what I mean? Like,
no way.
They didn't. And I don't think they think about the game like the fans do a lot of the time. I like to look at them as all individual stories about a guy named Link and a princess named Zelda. So I'm excited to see what this story feels like, where, you know, and there's going to be an argument about where it takes place in the timeline. But it does seem like a new version of Hyrule compared to the last time we saw a 2D Zelda, which was A Link Between Worlds.
That was the remake, the Game Boy remake.
Oh, right? Yeah, you're right. The last one was A Link's Awakening. I'm thinking like the last new 2D
last
Zelda.
New one. Sure. Yeah, 11 years ago.
A Link Between Worlds for 3DS.
Yeah.
Which, boy, I would play the hell out of a remake of that if they brought it to Switch. But anyway, we're all very excited for this Zelda game that comes out on the 26th, the same day the Balatro mobile drops. If you need to talk to me about anything, call me before September 26th.
What day of the week is that?
Gotta be a Friday or Thursday, I think.
So that's the day we record? We're going to have it's going to be a rough recording day.
Yeah, how the hell... I'm just going to be... we'll record while I'm playing Balatro. I'll just give you updates. Maybe
we'll do Wednesday that week. We'll give you the day off.
Well, I'm not reviewing Zelda or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. But I'm sure I'll have 50 videos that I have to edit the day before. And like Nintendo embargoes are like taking a standardized test. They're not easy. Anyway, on to the next previews. Donovan, you might be excited about this one. Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake is updating a classic without taking away from what made it special. Lexi previewed this at Gamescom for us, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. It looks great.
It does.
They recently announced they were adding a new class, like monster kind of tamer class, which is pretty cool because monster taming was a feature that came along much later in the Dragon Quest series in 3. So cool they're adding that to that game. Also seems like there's more customization options, like your party. Because in that OG trilogy, it's like hero, Erdrick is like the main character, and all the companions are like nobodies. Just whoever. So they actually then you customize them this time and change their like clothes and like their appearance and stuff, which is neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more Dragon Quest on all the platforms.
Yes.
So we have a new Wilmot game that's coming out. This is another preview from Lexi over at Gamescom. Wilmot has gone home from the warehouse, but it now has a lot of work. Now has a lot to work out. I think it's Wilmot. The game's called Wilmot Works It Out.
Works It Out, yeah.
This was announced, I think I don't know when it was. Was it the June Direct or something?
Maybe.
I don't know. We saw it. Those all blend together, man. I don't know. It was either Xbox, State of Play, or Nintendo. One of them. Or maybe Cozy Games for all I know. This looks cool though. The first game was fun as hell. It's just bringing that over to like a delivery. The first game was like you were logistics manager in a warehouse. This one is like it's you at home after work. It's kind of weird. Yep.
Looks
I don't
cute.
know. I'm into it. I like the last one. I'll give it a shot. That seems like a perfect Switch game.
Yeah.
We got Romancing Saga 2 remakes, another classic Square RPG for Western audiences. Ozzy wrote a preview for this on Shacknews. It's called, the full name of the game is Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. And Square Enix is really kind of ramping up a lot of these remakes. Not like the Final Fantasy ones as much, but these like smaller JRPG remakes. They seem to be.
Yeah, but this is great. B tier, AA, whatever you want to call it. I like it.
I'm glad that they're re-exploring their very deep catalog of beloved games, and it's not just Final Fantasy every year. Although there's no shortage of that.
I was listening to another podcast. I'm sorry, guys. I listen to other podcasts sometimes.
What?
I know. And they were talking about how like. You know how the eShop for Wii U closed and the Wii Shop on 3DS is gone now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't really buy a lot of games that were on those platforms. So it's kind of creating this hole that's being filled by like the Capcom Fighters collection. You know, like I think it's cool to see how companies are adapting to this. They're like, okay, you can't buy this on 3DS or DS anymore. Let's bring it to Switch. So it's cool to see that happening more and more. Joe, I'm wondering what you think about this game coming up here, Fantasian Neo Dimension.
Yeah, I played in Fantasia when it came out. Did either of you play it?
No.
It's got one noteworthy feature that every JRPG should glom onto, in that you can go through the overworld and flip a switch and choose to bundle all of the random encounters that would happen into one mega random encounter when a limit breaks. So it saves you from that like kind of tropey, boring, like, oh, I got to go from point A to point B and I'm going to get into a million battles that I don't want to get into just to make it to a place. And the reason that's so good, not even just for time savings, but like the more you let that thing build up, the more you let that gauge build up, you are making it harder for yourself, but they would also reward you commensurate with that difficulty.
This Dimension.
Yes, that's what it was.
A temporary holding place for monsters where they can be dealt with later. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, very
clever.
Preview,
he said he ended up fighting. So he said players can make preparations accordingly by using items, healing in nearby towns, or whatever else they need to. However, the Dimension only holds so many foes, so once it fills up, it's time to fight. In many cases, I wound up fighting 30 monsters at a time. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And also, that is like the one thing I hate most in RPGs. So that the fact that they're doing this is like a feature made for me. That is awesome. So you played this on Apple Arcade?
I did with a DualSense Bluetooth.
Ugh. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. You know, Apple.
It was good. I liked it.
Apple getting into video games. Apple.
Yeah, they're trying.
20 years late. Way to go, Apple.
There's one other noteworthy thing for you, Asif. One other noteworthy thing about this game is that the whole thing, except for the characters, the entire background of the game is a photographed set in real life, like Star Wars Episode 4 style. Yeah, very cool looking game.
Yeah, and this is the original Final Fantasy director.
That's right. The folks behind what's it? What I forget. You know, Mistwalker. There you go.
Yep, Mistwalker Studio, Hironobu Sakaguchi.
Yep.
Yeah. This is thanks Apple for paying them so that we can get this game on platforms that we want to play it on now.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations, Tim Cook. You did not get $1 from me, but Joe paid.
Yeah, roundabout. I have that bundle, so yeah.
Yeah, everyone like, oh, it's just, you have the Apple One bundle.
Yes.
Anyway, well, now people who have non-iPhones or Apple TVs can play this. It's going to be on PC, PlayStation, Xbox X and S, and also Switch, and probably Nintendo's successor.
I would think so.
Anyway, that looks really fucking cool. And read Ozzy's preview. Another one, Little Nightmares 3. Did you guys play It Takes Two?
Yep.
A little bit.
It's like, this is giving me It Takes Two vibes, except it has no local co-op, which is kind of a miss. You have to play online co-op. Everything else looks awesome. There's like these giant monsters in the background that like interact with the environment as you're trying to get through levels. I don't know. I really like the art style and gameplay of these games.
For sure.
Looks cool as hell.
Yeah. Claymation kind of look to it.
Yeah. Ozzy's gotten hands-on with this game twice in the last month. He went to the Xbox at Gamescom event in LA, and then he also got to play it at PAX West 2024, and he said that he did get to experience different things. That's pretty cool. It's not just one vertical slice that they're dragging around with them.
Wait.
Another preview, Undisputed boxing game, hopes to bring boxing games back to their prominence. This looks cool. It looks really good.
I think it's been around for a while. I wrote about that game like a year ago, or a couple years ago, maybe.
It's been in early access for several years, so it's getting to 1.0 soon. They're going to include almost 70 boxers, a license from whatever leagues, a commentary team of Todd Grisham and Johnny Nelson, ring introductions from the legendary Jimmy Lennon Jr., who I don't know who he is. It's not Michael Buffer. But yeah, Ozzy liked everything he saw at the PAX build of this game. They had a pretty cool booth too. They had like a ring and everything you could take pictures inside of.
Nice.
It was cool to see like PAX is kind of alive again. People are doing fun things. There was like you should check out our YouTube channel. We did a lot of booth tours in vertical video format. There's this mental health charity that had like a marble race. I'm like, that's a great idea for like a small booth at PAX. But yeah. And then, yeah, lastly, we have another preview from Ozzy for that boy, man. Ozzy, he has a couple days off coming, so thank God. But he's been all over. You know, he was in Hawaii a couple weeks ago. Then he was in Seattle. Now he's in the Bay Area. And then he's going to get home soon. But yeah.
Busy,
I don't know,
busy.
this is a new Life is Strange, right? It's being made by like a different studio than the previous ones, right?
Wasn't this the original dev or something like that?
Not Life is Strange. They're making a different game. Don't Nod made Life is Strange.
Deck
They're
9?
making this is Deck 9, who's taken over that franchise now. It makes some good games. Don't Nod is making Rage and Bloom, which they delayed because it was going to come out so close to Life is Strange, which is just, it's so bizarre, like multiple layers of weird. But yeah, I'm looking for this.
It takes place a decade after the first game.
Yeah, and you play as Max Caulfield again, the original protagonist, Life is Strange, which is really exciting.
And he has a new power called Shift that lets her jump back and forth between timelines. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, it's Ozzy seems excited for it, and that franchise has some staying power.
Oh yeah,
we have one longie here. OpenAI is just run by clowns, right?
Pretty much.
So in true clown nature, OpenAI insists it can't sufficiently train AI models without copywritten material. Huh.
Right.
That certainly sounds like something I've been saying for, I don't know, the entirety of this podcast. Like,
yeah.
The Emperor has no clothes, you guys. They don't. They are stealing content, and it's like OpenAI is like Cliff Notes for the internet. And they don't cite any of their sources properly. I should say they do sometimes source, but no one. Have you ever clicked a link and an OpenAI result?
I mean, I don't even remember the last time I used one, but no.
Yeah.
I mean, my biggest experience is getting faulty information to make these games. That's my AI experience. It's very helpful until you read it once. So like on the episode 3, when I did the first game, I was like, oh, this is going to be such a great tool. Nope. Doesn't work. It's always wrong. It stinks.
Yeah. So they issued a statement to the British House of Lords subcommittee that's apparently investigating them. And they said, because copyright today covers virtually every sort of human expression, including blog posts, photographs, forum posts, scraps of software code, and government documents, it would be impossible to train today's leading AI models without using copyrighted materials. Oh well.
Maybe we should stop training AI models. Just an idea.
I don't know, Donovan. They've already spent hundreds of billions of dollars on supercomputers. What are they going to do? Won't someone think of the supercomputers?
Yeah.
This is hilarious. This is just great. This company can't even make money when they're stealing stuff. And now they're like, hey guys, we're not going to be able to get to the singularity if you don't let us steal everything. It's like, yeah, no shit. Pay us. Pay us. You want our content? Pay us. Oh, you don't have money? Die. That's as simple as I can put it. I hope this company dies. Like it wasn't even supposed to be a company. It was a non-profit organization. And it's pivoted to being for profit. And like Microsoft became a shareholder. It's how many times have we seen this now where bubble happens, figurehead appears, figurehead is full of shit, bubble bursts. I just described the crypto bubble, NFT market, the VR bubble, AR bubble. It's just, why do we keep doing shit like this as a society?
There's so much damage too that comes with it.
Think how many outlets have been shuttered. Think about the state of the internet right now, how bad things are going for online publishers. This company is directly to blame for it. And now they're like, we're not going to be able to succeed. Who gives a fuck? Die. You're killing all of us. You're killing our colleagues. How about you fucking die? This idea that, oh, we need to change copyright rules so we can steal your shit. No, pay us. That's the solution here.
Yeah.
It's just fucking, and it's not even good. Like, it's not even good at doing basic shit.
Nope.
And like, fuck these video platforms. I don't know what they're, Sora or whatever these other video platforms that people are using to generate short clips and stuff. I don't care what happens in a still photo meme for 30 seconds afterwards. I really don't care. I enjoyed the meme because it was funny. I was never thinking, guy looks at girl while with other girl. What happens in the 30 seconds after that? No one has ever asked that question, but boy howdy does AI have the answer. And it's like, okay. And so much of it is just shit. Like, everyone's like, this is going to replace filmmaking. How? And to your point, Joe, like, how many people in the creative space have been fired in the last year or two because AI was going to save the day?
Yeah.
The emperor has no clothes, and this is that moment. And every AI stock tanked when this news came out, because it's like, I think we're seeing it. We're at the emperor has no clothes moment. Sam Altman does not know how to turn a profit at OpenAI without stealing everyone's information.
Yeah. Just like a naked look at their business model and how shitty it is for literally everybody else.
Yeah. And it's not just shitty for everyone else, it's shitty for them too. So much so that it's like a sinking ship. Everyone's jumping off of the OpenAI boat. They're like, no one wants to join their security council. A ton of the founders have left. There's a rumor that Apple's about to invest in them. That would be like the kiss of death. Like, that would be the perfect way for this to end. Because I have been waiting, and we'll get past this here shortly. The 2000 bubble in tech, it had a moment where you were like, ring the bell, the bubble's about to burst. And that was when AOL and Time Warner merged, right? And I've been thinking a lot about like, what is going to be the corollary of this market bubble? I think Apple investing in OpenAI could be that. I think everyone's going to point to Elon acquiring Twitter, but that was like, what, almost 3 years ago?
Yeah, wow.
God, it's been a terrible 3 years. But I'm like, what is it? Is it Activision being acquired by Microsoft? Like, what's going to be that thing that you're like, when that happened, that's when I knew? Maybe it's Jensen Huang in Taipei signing a woman's breasts with a Sharpie or whatever. The CEO of NVIDIA, like, signing a woman's body. But I guess my point is, we're closer to this entire, this belief system in AI crashing and burning. We're very close to that. Because if this is the leading company, and this is the leading LLM, and this is the most popular chatbot, and they're saying this, it's true for everyone.
Oh yeah, but also, like, the reason it's news is, you know, this is a story because he said it, not because it wasn't known, right? Like, it's showing his ass, but it's not like he said something we didn't already know. Like, of course that's what they were doing. How else would the chatbot know anything?
But this is where a leader is admitting that, you know, the snake oil salesman doesn't tell you he's selling you bullshit.
Right.
That's where this guy is fumbling. Sure. By saying that, he's showing his company's weakness. He's showing his own leadership weakness. It's just a bad idea.
Can I mention one more AI story that I don't know if you saw, Asif?
Sure.
It's semi feel good in that there was an uproar over it. NaNoWriMo, which is probably has a pronunciation that I'm getting wrong, but it's National Novel Writing Month. I think September. And there's a organization and a website that sort of facilitates that, and it's like just a way to like jumpstart creativity, and it's been, I think, running for a really long time now. But they, in hosting 2024 NaNoWriMo 2024, they suggested AI tools, and they increased the word mandate, like the participation word count goal went up like tenfold. And they said, you should use AI tools. And the user base is like, no, that's absolutely against the entire spirit of this thing. So there's a huge uproar over the platform, over the sentiment of it. And then there's like, you know, very successful authors like, I want nothing to do with you anymore. So there's like a bit of a people's movement happening, which is
coming from the creatives, man. We're all sick of this shit.
For sure.
And like, as someone who's trying to run a website in 2024, boy howdy am I sick of all of these assholes stealing my shit.
For sure.
Like, it's infuriating because we spend a lot of time, like, we're not a content farm. we're not just using AI voiceover in all of our vertical videos. We're actually human beings creating video content. And it's like, or we're human beings writing reviews. This idea that you can replace journalists with AI has always been bullshit. And it's just now like it's becoming obvious, right? It's no longer, AI chatbots were just good enough to impress people who don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, right? And now they're like, it's not giving me the right answer, or it's, why are there still 7 fingers, or why did that lady's hair change color in this video? I didn't prompt it to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The hallucinations, I think, have started to show up, and people are like, well, this isn't very good. I think GPT 4.0 is about as intelligent as a 4th grader. The idea that we're going to get to genius, artificial intelligence reaching a genius level, I don't think is possible. And then what does that, here's the thing that I think is very concerning. What does this mean for the companies that they're putting hundreds of billions of dollars behind this, right? They're still building data centers that aren't live yet. That whole economy is going to burst if they don't get to artificial general intelligence, right? So you look at who's making those bets, and I'm like, it goes back to Microsoft, it goes back to Amazon, it goes back to Apple and Google and Facebook. But that's like hundreds of billions of dollars are going into this, and then they're firing all their human capital at the same time. I don't know. This is going to end poorly. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the ring the bell moment. But man, has it felt like this multiple times during this bubble. And then they're like, here's GPT-4 and it works slightly better. Or GPT-5 is now it's a 5th grader. It's like, okay. Yeah, this seems, I just think it's strange to see the head of a company admit this, because this is opening him up to 1 billion lawsuits. And please, Nintendo, fight for us. We can't afford to sue these people. Maybe I should. I don't know.
I have a lighthearted example to wrap the story on.
Sure.
Have either of you seen the Google Gemini reply to the person Googling first person to backflip? Have you seen this?
No.
So if you search first person to backflip, I don't know if they've jumped on this and fixed it if you did it right now. But Gemini replies to that Google search with the following. It's difficult to trace the origins of the backflip, but one story claims that John Backflip performed the first backflip in the year 1316 in medieval Europe.
Oh, wow.
Fuck up.
However,
John Backflip.
However,
The original
Backflip.
JB.
Yes, that's right. However, Backflip, referring to the man. However, Backflip was eventually exiled after his rival William Frontflip convinced the public. I swear to God. Backflip was eventually exiled after his rival William Frontflip convinced the public that Backflip was using witchcraft.
Oh my God. Good God. Okay, so the number one search result underneath that donkey of a Gemini post is a TikTok.
Oh boy.
The source is a TikTok video. And then apparently a Quora question, which is sourcing the TikTok video.
Yes.
This is what's wrong with sourcing communities for information, man. It's why you don't create... Can you imagine if we created an LLM out of just chatty posts?
Dear God.
How bad it would be. Like, the idea that, oh man, we're going to cut a deal with Reddit because Reddit has so much great information. No, it doesn't. It has a ton of misinformation. It's just like...
Wow.
John Backflip.
I tell you.
We salute you, John Backflip, if you existed.
Back in 1316. Yep.
1316. What happened in that year? What? And then this idea that a man named Frontflip showed up? Like,
That's when things got serious.
Oh,
it's very good. I really look forward to shitposting being the thing that takes this down. So
that's it. That's it. That's really it, man. There's so much shitposting that's being, like, you look at the two of these platforms. You're talking about Google Gemini and you're talking about Grok on Twitter. Grok is being trained on Twitter. I can't think of a worse thing to train on.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're bad. These are like bad source information, bad results, less useful platform. What are you doing, Google? You've ruined your search results almost entirely. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe Shacknews should make a search engine.
Hey, I'm looking for work, so let's jump on it.
We're already working on something that we haven't announced yet.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. So is Shack Pets. Anyway, that's it. Not for AI. We'll be talking about it again. I've said this repeatedly. There's a chicken and the egg moment coming to AI, and it's going to become abundantly clear that, spoiler alert, media companies are not worthless. Fact checking is actually super useful, and humans can review things and issue opinion pieces that AI is incapable of. So maybe stop fucking firing every writer in our industry, because I can't hire all of you. I'm sorry. Like, we've never solicited for freelancers at Shacknews. We haven't had to, Joe. I get emails every day.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's just like, we can't hire everyone. Sorry. But like, the idea that media is worthless is a common phrase among the right wing in America, or billionaires, idiots. But this shit, John Backflip, like, why can't Google hire, I don't know, a team of people to actually fact check AI results? Wouldn't that be useful? Just stupid. Anyway, we have some community notes. So we got a few questions and comments from the Shacknews community, which you can join by heading over to shacknews.com/chatty, or by emailing Donovan at donovan.erskine@shacknews.com. I won't spell it for them because it's like a mini game if you spell it right.
Yeah, I can figure that out.
Also, shout out to Haas Mamu, who actually did review us. His review got through on the podcast facility.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
Yeah. I think he went by content there, KHANTENT. But yeah, shout out. Thank you for the 5-star review. If you made it this far into the podcast, you like us, give us a review wherever. It's hard. So you mentioned there were 2 threads you wanted to highlight. One was just someone asking about Astrobot.
Yeah, I included this before the review hit. So, because I was like, where's Shacknews review? And I saw other people saying the same thing. And then, you dropped the review and I forgot to remove this. So I apologize.
Okay. So anyway, the review is in. We mentioned it earlier, but Astrobot got a 10 out of 10. I can go to the actual chatty thread for it today. Milla said, holy shit, I cannot wait. David Craddock said, great review. So hyped for this. Ernex said 94 on Metacritic right now. Yay, Team Asobi. Milla also said Astra's Playroom is my favorite PS5 game, so by far. So I guess I have a new favorite PS5 game.
Wow.
Adam519 replied with the Open Critic link and said LFG. Crunch Time said, wow, was not expecting this to be one of the best platformers ever. Alrighty then. Arrakis said, sweet, pre-ordered. Biosector said, oh yeah, I knew I was going to get it regardless of reviews since I enjoyed Playroom so much, but to see that it knocked it out of the park like this is great. And I replied, looking forward to playing this, because I am.
Wait.
There was another thread that I'm going to just throw it in here because this podcast isn't long enough.
Yeah.
Someone asked, I thought this was a good question. It was, once again, Chatty might be one of the best places to ask a question on the internet. What's a game that you would describe as your comfort zone? It's a game you associate with your warmest memories or happiest feelings. This may not be your favorite game of all time. And his was A Link to the Past. So what is a comfort zone game for you guys?
Okay, Donovan.
Usually, yeah, Skyrim's up there. Anything with Pokemon in the title. Stardew Valley is a classic for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind for me for sure.
Joe?
Definitely, without question, Final Fantasy Tactics. Basement of my parents' house and the sectional freezing cold down there because of how basements work. Grinding in the swamp. I did that for many years.
That was on DS?
No, that was a PS1 game.
PS1. Okay, nice.
What about you?
This is going to surprise people. It's not F-Zero.
Oh.
Because F-Zero is intense. Someone was surprised. I said, F-Zero is quite intense in all of its iterations. The game I chose is like video game chicken noodle soup for me.
Okay.
Any guess?
Chicken noodle soup. Zelda comes to mind.
Nope.
Nintendo?
It is a Nintendo game. Yes.
Is it first party?
Yes.
Is it N64 era?
Yes.
Is it single player?
It has both single player and multiplayer.
What is it known for?
If I say, it'll give it away.
What, really?
Let me see. Yeah. What is it known for? Dead giveaway. If I say any of what it's known for.
No. I'm saying, is it known for multiplayer or single player?
Oh, it's known for single player.
Single player. Okay.
Sorry, I thought you were asking like what is it known for? Like,
yeah. That I could see being a giveaway. Known for single player, but it has a multiplayer component. So that rules out James Bond, which would be more known for GoldenEye would be more known for multiplayer.
Yeah.
And also not a chicken soup game.
No.
Mario Kart is pretty high stakes and not fun by yourself.
No, that's not it.
Donovan, help me out. You got a guess?
Is it a Star Fox game?
Yep.
Wow. Nicely
Star Fox
done.
64.
Nicely done.
Sweet. Look at that.
I was gonna be like, if I said like it's a space game, that would have been a giveaway.
Yeah,
or like
sure.
it has cuddly furry characters, that would have been a giveaway.
All right,
Yeah,
you got to
that's
paint the picture. Paint the picture. How, like, take me to your parents' house. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a game that I had for N64. It's not necessarily at my parents' house. I played this game so much that my friend's little brother had me play it when it came out at their house so that we could unlock everything. I played that game straight through for like 8 hours, just over and over and over and over again until I got the best ending and stuff. Now I can get the best ending without even trying, basically. I've played through this game hundreds of times, and it's not my favorite game, but it's a game that, like, when I need to, like, get centered or back to, like, just feel good about video games, it's the game I go to.
Wow, I don't think I knew that about you.
Yeah, I absolutely love Star Fox 64. It's just funny because, yeah, like, I'm known more for, like, my love of Mario or my love of Zelda or whatever, but yeah, like, I am into, like, some of the more niche Nintendo franchises like F-Zero and Star Fox. And, like, with this new era of Nintendo right now, with the TV and movie efforts, like Star Fox, that would be a good movie.
Definitely. Lots of characters.
Yeah, the characters are cool. And I love that ending. Before Tears of the Kingdom, Star Fox 64 was my favorite ending in a Nintendo game.
Bold words.
Yeah, and I stand by it. I think Tears of the Kingdom has the best ending in Nintendo history.
Agree.
But yeah, that's it. We did it. My God, this is
Jesus.
Sorry, guys. I don't know. This makes up for some of those episodes where we're closer to an hour, I guess.
Yeah.
It'll all average out over time, just like Joe's game where Donovan beat me cumulatively. Donovan, good luck to your Ravens this season.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Maybe the Lions and the Ravens will face off in the Super Bowl, and you can rip my heart out again. Yeah, go Lions. And I don't know, Joe, you don't watch football, right?
Sorry, I don't.
That's fine. If you did, are you a Jets or a Giants fan?
I feel like the Jets are the Mets and the Giants are the Yankees, and I do prefer the Yankees. So
okay, well, your quarterback sucks.
Okay.
I heard your GM talk about it for 5 straight episodes on Hard Knocks. It was weird.
Wow, you just assigned me that team based on what I said, huh?
Well, yeah, Yankees fans, almost all of them root for the Giants.
Yeah, we're just
Yankees
like the old
fans
teams.
are front runners. Mets fans are like almost Cleveland Brown level of abused fans.
See, that's the thing. I should be a Mets fan because I'm a Knicks fan, but I don't know.
Yeah, the Knicks yeah. It's usually Mets, Nets, Jets.
Right, exactly.
You have to rhyme in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. It's a rule. It's a law.
Yeah. You might be a Jets fan. I'm sorry.
Dang it.
Both of them. Like, talk about some tortured franchises, though. Like, anyway, sorry. That's going to do it for today's show. Subscribe on your podcast app of choice and tune in every Friday for more Shack Together. Usually this episode goes up on Thursday night, and I embed it in the evening reading article, but sometimes Joe has technical difficulties or the power goes out or something.
Sorry.
It happens. But that's it. We did it. My God. What a
Thanks,
long episode.
Donovan. Wow. Appreciate it.
Everyone go check out Astrobot, read our review, check out our vertical videos, go to all the platforms to see the content that we're putting out for Astrobot, because it's a cool game. If you want to just see what's going on before you buy it, you can preview stuff over on Shacknews YouTube. That's it.
That's it.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening. They'll never forget you. Bye.
Bye.
Wave at the camera. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The music hits. We did it. Oh, my God. Shacknews is a multimedia company consisting of a variety of entertainment properties, including Shacknews.com, video game and cutting-edge technology coverage with evergreen video, guide, and long-read content, providing readers and viewers with the latest reviews, previews, interviews, and news. Shacknews content is readable and viewable at shacknews.com, Facebook, YouTube at Shacknews, Shacknews Interviews, and Shacknews VODs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Shacknews Media, Twitch, and more. But that's not all. You can play Bubbletron, our first video game. Combine 3 ideas, hit the market, and get your money hat. Bubbletron is a daily game in the style of Wordle where players can launch a company and see its valuation instantly. Hit that high score and brag to your friends. Visit Bubbletron.com to play. There is no download required, no signups required. But if you are into app downloads, we have the cutest one on the planet. It's called Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. Swipe your pets to victory on iOS and Android in this Tinder-like app for pets. Shacknews is proud to present a variety of micro products, all available for free at shacknews.com. Cortex is a publishing platform available to all of our users. Shouts is a Twitter replacement in a time where Twitter really needs replacing. And Reader, an RSS reader that won't get shut down by Google anytime soon. You can import YouTube, subreddits, all sorts of cool stuff, even podcast feeds. And lastly, all of our products are completely free to use and play, so if you're a fan of what we're doing and want to support the Shacknews ecosystem, head over to shacknews.com/Mercury. Mercury offers subscribers access to exclusive Shacknews swag like hoodies and VIP access to our long reads in downloadable format. It's a great way to support us. There's different tiers, and you get a lightning bolt next to your name.